0, but we'll see if Virtus.pro have been cooking anything up in the lab. Bist as well with his debut outfit here on Virtus.pro. In an interesting matchup. Let's see how he goes against one of the GOATs in ZywOo as we jump into our second match of the day here for IEM Chengdu. It's Vitality up against Virtus.pro.
Virtus.pro will be starting out on the T side here. CT selected by Vitality. Had heard from Virtus.pro in the interview that they had prepared hard for this match, and I think a good start here on the T side. Get the AWP going on Bist. If he has a really nice debut on the CT side, then maybe you could be cooking with gas, but it's still going to be a lot to ask here, especially when you're attacking into a fully stacked B site here from Vitality.
Well, he's going to be the one throwing the util, so we might have to wait and see a little longer, but it is Vitality that are well prepared for this. 3 players on that B bomb site, 1 for 1 to start things off. Virtus.pro still looking for those inroads that's going to give them the bomb site, and they are not getting them. Mezii and ropz, the dynamic duo on that B bomb site that are doing the damage, and rotation came through from Apex for a little bit of an assist there as well. A stable hold on the B bomb site to start things off for Vitality in Chengdu.
Yeah, it was a decent timing. Look, they went for 1 in the early round, but once they made it onto the pillar, I mean, that's where the pillars of Vitality really come into play. Big multi-frag from mezii to kick things off. It's a good start on the CT side, as expected from Vitality. And for Virtus.pro, they're going to take this one a little slower. Deke out for Fame, but nobody else purchasing anything into this round. They are trusting their game plan on the gun rounds to get things done.
Well, not necessarily making any secret of the fact that they've got a few Glocks in tow. A couple of taps there from VP. And Vitality happy to take those fights. ZywOo set up with a nice flash there from Apex. Everything working as intended so far for VP, or for Vitality, I should say. Not so the case necessarily for VP. That grenade, though, maybe not quite connecting on the right mark, but the reality is it doesn't really matter too much here. Vitality really out for a stroll in the park at the moment.
Yeah, Perfecto's picked up the dig. Even taking 1 or 2 guns away from Vitality here would be acceptable. Flames going to get involved in the action with the MP9 and farm up a little bit of extra cash. Nice and clean for Vitality. The eco, and maybe greater so, the series as a whole, a little bit of a stepping stone for them here in Chengdu. For VP, forget about an upset. I think, honestly, they'd be happy with a close game, maybe stealing a map against Vitality, and a good performance from Bist would definitely be something to get a little bit more excited about. We'll see if we can even get that out of VP going into this game. Won't be AWPing early on here on the T side to take the single save into their first gun round. Vitality keeping things nice and clean. Do have still the MP9 in play, which is going to be utilized to be able to put Apex on top of the totem pole, spamming away. Down connector, aggression from ZywOo. Straight into playground. I don't think Fame was ready to play in this case.
Yeah, that's criminal that ZywOo's able to get away with that. I mean, we'll see if he actually does get away. It looks like he will. Smoke still up. Molotov into playground, and he backs off. Aggression shown all over the map there as mezii just walks his way down Monster. Gets away with a little bit there as well, even with that kill on Deflit. Sure, it ends up being a 1 for 1, but VP need to be doing a little better than this against Vitality.
Yeah, very clued on. Isolating the lurker there and getting information enough for Vitality to lean a little bit more heavily towards B. Flames wants to wait for this smoke to dissipate. In fact, it's a flash over the top from Apex. These are the little plays that just mean Vitality are on another level. You can see it in their gameplay. Every little edge that they can take, they will run with it.
Yeah, really looking to dictate the game from the outset. There's another flash over the top. This time, it will not work out for Vitality, but you can get an idea of the brand of Counter-Strike that they're trying to bring to the table today. Really, really trying to control this from the outset, and VP don't have many options but to walk their way into the B bomb site. Apex ducked down behind the toxic barrels. He is going to let them have the site, and he is being so patient, and that will work out. He gets the first one onto Toro, and now Bist, the man of the moment, will not be the man of the moment. He had an opportunity there for something special to kick things underway for Virtus.pro, but just not going to happen against the likes of Vitality here, and a fantastic start to the day for the prestigious squad.
Apex having a little chuckle to himself there. And for VP, a round where, look, it does come down into a 2v2 at the end there, but just constant harassment on all fronts. ZywOo going straight up the guts down playground. You have multiple players aggressing on B Monster. Vitality not wanting to let the game come to them, but instead, like you said, looking to dictate the pace. Did whiff a little bit of a Monster smoke. Well, outside of that, I think that's the most egregious mistake you've seen out of Vitality thus far.
Oh, Flitz DC'd.
Oh, I wonder if we're going to roll back on that or not.
Damage done to Fame.
Okay, maybe not.
So we'll see. We'll get confirmation, but it looks like at the moment it looks like they're playing the round out.
Oh, you just play the round out, see how it goes. It was only an eco, so yeah, even that 7 damage done is enough to mean that we will have to play out the rest of this. But even, I mean, for VP at the end of the day, with just the pistols, would have had to subvert their expectations regardless, really.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, look, if it's going to happen in any round, it's probably better that it happens here than in an important gun round. But nonetheless, not an unwinnable round for VP. We'll see if they can make something happen here. Even down on numbers, they're going to give it a crack in toward that A site. Nade breaks open the smoke. ZywOo spots the info, but immediately taken down by Fame. And that'll be in the M4 in his hands. So with 30 seconds left on the clock, they're trying to give him a bit of time to find a pick, but it's just not forthcoming, and so it will be swept aside pretty easily, again, by Vitality. 4-0 now the lead, and I imagine we'll have a short pause here.
Yeah, give a little bit more time for Flit to get into the server. So, give a little bit of time for VP to kind of settle things down. You know, haven't really had too much of a chance to get involved in this game just yet. Did see them immediately pick into Overpass, and they will have known that they're going to have to start out on this T side. So we'll see what their game plan is going to be once we actually started to get into the meat and potatoes of some of these gun rounds. If Vitality is even going to let them execute that game plan at the end of the day is another question entirely. We've already seen in that opening gun round the amount of disruption that Vitality is looking to accomplish in this game early on. And from there, you know, that initial aggression in playground from ZywOo, with the rifle, now he's undoubtedly going to get the AWP going, and he's probably going to have it in his hands for quite a while, because the start that Vitality's had on this CT side is going to really afford them pretty much anything that they want to put together on this CT side for quite a while.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think a lot of the conversation around this matchup that interests me, at least, is more about what BIS is going to look like at this level of play. You know, I think obviously we all have our sort of reservations to an extent about where VP's at the moment. There's been a lot of moving and shaking happening there. I don't think the expectations are necessarily too high for them in this matchup in particular. And to an extent, we kind of know what we're going to get from Vitality. It's just a case of making sure that they're coming into the server and coming into Chengdu in decent form, and that seems like it's a tick in the book so far. So a lot of the question marks at the moment are, what does BIS look like? What roles is he going to be in? Sort of how is he going to be set up? I mean, you saw him even in the pistol. He's tossing the util. So
I mean, yeah, on the T side, that's probably going to have to be what he's going to be putting together, because he's probably running into that AWP role.
Yes.
So he's going to be supporting a little bit more, maybe put into some of these post plants, if he's going to even AWP at all on the T side.
That's the question I was like kind of leading into, because first of all, you're down 4-0. You've got basically no money here to really work with. So if we are going to see him with the AWP, it is going to take a little while in this first half to get that underway.
Yep.
So I'm already kind of like almost looking forward to the second half, which is, again, where you'd probably look to the AWPer in a little bit more of a capacity, especially on Overpass, to kind of be having some degree of impact. Obviously, Dust2 as well in this pool. So there's a lot of options or opportunities available to him, you know, assuming the economy is there for VP, which, you know, that's not necessarily a given when you're playing against a team like Vitality. But I am hoping that we're going to get to see him with the AWP in a couple of good rounds coming into this matchup, because, you know, I was having a look at his numbers and the teams that he's going up against, and he looks like on paper not a bad shout. You know what I mean? Like, he's got some decent numbers here and there, and, you know, give him a crack, see what happens. You never really know until you put someone into the tier 1 shoes.
As far as T1 Counter-Strike's concerned, he is kind of like initially a side character in like you know, he's a random like feature in like the Team Liquid drama, where everyone was memeing on them a little bit for losing to VP Pro Prodigy.
Yep.
And Biss was partaking
The main character.
in that particular game, and he was kind of owning them.
Yeah.
So I think like that's already little flashes of his potential in much like lesser circumstances, much less pressure. You're an underdog in one of these online events that is just looking to kind of cause a little bit of an upset to a prestigious org like Team Liquid. He's been able to do it there. This is a little bit greater stakes. We're in a kind of studio environment at a big event against one of the most dominant teams this year. It's going to be a bit of a tougher ask from the man, but there's no doubt that if he steps up in this kind of environment, that the potential is going to be there. You've seen that potential in VP Prodigy. It's just a question of whether it gets realized in a more pressured environment. The other thing, just greater as a whole for VP, is just like I'm looking at this roster and the names that have made their way through VP as an organization as of late, and how little success that they've had. It feels like every player that they're putting through this roster has been more successful outside of it.
Right.
For an org of this kind of pedigree, of this history, it's just kind of disappointing. And I think especially when they're running in kind of tandem with a team that's as successful like Team Spirit, and they're both kind of repping from the same region, I think that it's going to be a little bit underwhelming. So I don't mind the fact that they're going towards some of these younger players, that they're giving an academy player a shot at the end of the day, because that was kind of the success story a little bit for Team Spirit as well, where you had some of these players grind through the tier 3, tier 2 scene, and then step up into Team Spirit, mixed in with a couple of more known names like your Choppers and your Magics and things like that, who I don't think is on the roster anymore. But it's these up and coming players that are the future of the CIS region, and you often see them cranked out all the time. People really grind over there. So I think VP backing talent like that is probably the only way they're going to get out of this hole, because they've already run their way through a lot of tested, proven names at this point and found no success.
No, I think to be fair, you also do still have that blend of youth and experience in this roster. We've seen names like Fame, Flit, and Perfecto especially around for a very, very long time. There's that change up in the in-game leadership as well, Electronic moving away from VP and Perfecto sort of stepping into those shoes. So I feel like this is kind of like, in a sense, a new Virtus.pro, if that makes sense. You've got
step in the right direction.
You've got some of the old elements, but it's very much coming in as a new team, a new look, and we'll see whether or not that's going to work out for them. Obviously, a tough start today for them at IEM Chengdu, but it is early days, 4-0 down against Vitality as we're about to get back underway, or maybe not. There's another tech pause coming through, so we'll get back in and have a little bit more of a podcast sesh here.
I think it's another
The
DC from Flit, I'm pretty sure. So, yep,
Yeah.
He's still figuring out, teasing through a couple of these issues. We did get a little bit of glimpse into the buy there and get one of our questions answered.
Right.
Indeed, heading into this first big gun round number 5, where they do have the cash for it, you will see Bist with an AWP in his hands. And Zywoo has also, after going down in that previous round, invested in an AWP himself. So already you're going to see Bist try to ply his trade on the T side of Overpass here. Might get a little bit of an AWP duel. And then look, if he's able to pick Zywoo early on, I think that's going to be a pretty good feel in round number 5.
Yeah.
To start to build some confidence. If you can pick Zywoo in an AWP duel, or find some picks with the AWP against a team of Vitality's caliber, who usually won't give you too many opportunities, then I think you're feeling pretty good about yourself as a prospect.
It's going to be surely an intimidating prospect as well, but let's see how he goes as we are getting some fist bumps over there in China, in Chengdu. It looks like we're about to be back underway. So there you have both the AWPs ready to go. Bist and Zywoo. Flit yet to buy, but doesn't look like he's going to be too hard done by. He's got an AK as well. So let's see where Bist is off to. Not anywhere too quickly. A couple of players blocking him on the outset there, but he'll get down into connector to have a little bit of a look, and Zywoo nowhere to be seen. He's over on A long, so he won't get that duel just yet.
Yeah, just posted up in con, waiting for somebody to peek him. Vitality mixing up the setup. Will be Zywoo posted up from top of the garden bed with ropz in a bait setup. If Virtus.pro do opt to change things up and start to head in that direction later on. Does seem like it's just going to be Fame making some moves with a little bit of util from Perfecto over on that A side of the map. Very much a slow default from Virtus.pro, running the clock down, working the map control.
Yeah, Apex has got the spider senses tingling there, but this is a fantastic setup on long for the offensive that VP's about to bring. It'll be a flash over the top that's going to blind ropz, but ropz, he got the back of it and doesn't quite land his spray. There we go. Beast is the best, apparently.
Hey, it's one round, bro. Relax, calm down. But it was a very nice opener to it. Nice deep flash, pushing ZywOo off the line. Dealt with Apex in the closed setup, and then posted up for the re-peak is Beast. Already passing an easier first test. VP now with 30 seconds need to make sure they don't trip over themselves really in this 5-on-3. They're taking a very long time to get this going, and there's a couple of players from Vitality and Divider.
Yeah, this could be a problem, definitely. See what Apex is going to be able to do, but he's a bit of a swindler. He does get that job done. Bist is low. Hearing the footsteps of Perfecto in bathroom, so he'll be coming that over to his teammate as well. Flames is ready.
10 seconds.
For Perfecto, and if he gets even one more right here, that could be the round over. Bomb drops, but it's not going to matter. The kills do come through in the end. A bit too close for comfort for VP, but they get their first round on the board.
I mean, it's very much in CIS style, taking every single second to be able to finish off the round, but that is where these kind of players do flourish, do thrive. Definitely influenced by the old school kind of Na'Vi style of running down the clock. And then mixing in some of the newer, like, aggressive rounds where they're really sending it. Can get a little bit of a mix of styles because you've just had so many different influences in this region at this point. Another tech pause. We're not going to have a DC this time, just working out a mic issue. So it shouldn't take as long to fix that up and work through those issues. But this is classic day one stuff. Just a few little teething issues that we need to work our way through before we can get going with the smooth games.
I mean, that may have been part of the reason why things were a little bit hectic at the back end there for VP. If someone's trying to make a comm and it's not going through, you know, everyone's like, what's going on? But they got the job done in the end. So all's well that ends well, and hopefully this campaign can get off to a bit of a better start for VP now that they've got that round under their belt. Let's remember, obviously, they're starting things on the T side here of Overpass, so
yeah,
we're not expecting astronomical numbers out of them necessarily. I think the goal will be 4 or 5 in this first half to say we've got something done.
Especially because they haven't been able to pick up the pistol or the first gun round there. They've kind of lost to a pseudo bonus from Vitality early on, so I think winning a round in that fashion, reasonably respectable. But they're going to need a couple more of those in a row to really work their way into this game and start actually evening things up or keeping things close on the T side, if they can even do that. But going into this game, they will have known. I think the perma bans were pretty set out from both of these teams coming into this series. So VP, they will have known they wanted to pick Overpass on in here, and they will have known they're going to have to start T side. So that's where, as mentioned before, we need to see what the prep was, what the game plan was, how comfortable they can make Bist. And so far, so good, at least in that last round.
What are your thoughts on the Vitality jersey? You know, no longer the bright yellow. I kind of miss the bright yellow.
It's a definite meh from me.
I feel like
I'm liking the VP. Like, I'm seeing 5 traffic cones right now.
This could have been the battle of the highlighter colors, right? We could have gone for highlighter yellow versus highlighter orange. What do you decide? Personally, I'm a big fan of highlighter green.
Yeah.
I think we should have a highlighter green team. Is there a green team?
It's
FlyQuest, but that's not highlighter green.
High-vis green is just kind of ugly. I don't know why you would. I don't know any org that's gone, yeah, let's go with really intense, vibrant, like bright green.
People would remember you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Anyways, remember you fondly.
Enough on that topic as we are getting back underway with round number 6. So for those of you just joining us, VP picked up that last round. And hopefully going to get underway with this T side. It's been a bit of a stop and go kind of start from them. But that last round looked pretty good. Bist getting the AWP in his hands as well, nice and early on in this T side, being able to get one of those opening picks onto ZywOo himself. Does speak volumes to what he might be able to bring to the table here today for VP. And again, Bist is set up in a position where he's looking for that opening pick. This time through Connector, waiting for the boost. He doesn't get it, but it is kind of nice to see this new guy coming into the team. They're giving him some degree of responsibility. Toro really under pressure though, and Apex just takes him down himself.
I mean, it's just perfect play from Apex. He's jump spotting, he sees the smoke timing, and then when he hears the molly bounce off the wall, that's when he throws the nade and goes in for the spam. Like, he's reading the tendencies on that T-side default so perfectly, just using nothing but sound and info to be able to get an opening pick. And these are the small edges that just means like Vitality's just on another level. Like there's only so many teams that you see do stuff like this.
Well, VP, bit of recovery required from them. And again, that might have to come from the new addition of Bist, who is having a look for a pick with this AWP. He's trying to clear out short water. Smoke's gone through onto short, and that will be enough for VP to read into the fact that there's not a whole lot happening here. So they can take that space and set themselves up outside of B. But meanwhile, those minions are scurrying around on the CT side as well and starting to rotate their way down to B. Information play here for mezii ends up being a double kill. He gets set up by Flames, and now it is into just Fame and Perfecto to try to save the day here. They get that opener and they'll have to plant, but it's going to be a tough 3-on-2 for them. ropz having already taken short water control. Perfecto might have heard that. He's made a couple of steps himself, so ropz will be pretty aware that there's a player up here on short molly to try and push Perfecto out of position. Give ropz a little bit more room to just creep up the ramp. And it's these inches that make the difference as ropz finds the double. Defuse will be an easy one for Vitality. 5-1, and their lead will grow back to 4.
Couple of nice moments or entries into that B site, but in that after plant, could not put it together, unfortunately. Felt like Vitality was in control of that round right from day dot. Some beautiful play there from Apex on the jump spot towards B, and still a lot of utility left over, and you saw just how effectively Vitality used that to make Virtus.pro's life very difficult trying to complete that round towards B. So they're coming out monster, they're getting full blinded as they're scaling up into the site. More flashes are being layered. Apex rotates in with a double flash molly from that A side of the map, dumps the molly onto shore, and he's just layering flashes over the top of the pillar there.
Well, tack timeout. See if that makes much of a difference here. That was beautiful as well from mezii and mezii, setting themselves up for that success in the monster tunnel. Smooth sailing thus far for Vitality. Another monster smoke out. Start the round, as is pretty standard. Molly as well toward Playground. That'll be smoked off by VP. So pretty standard opener again from both teams.
VP again, it's just this default approach, trying to mask any info towards the middle of the map with multiple smokes towards short and outside of connector. They molly out connector and take some control over there. But it's been very similar pacing, and you're seeing Vitality adapt to that. Look how much util they're still holding on to 1 minute 20 in the round. They don't burn it early round. Very aware that VP is just going to really run the clock down, and as we head into the late round, they just want to bank as much utility as they can to make VP's life very difficult finishing these rounds. It's calculated aggression to be able to inform the rotates.
Puts not in a bad position here to just try and probe into that B bomb site, cause a bit of a ruckus. He's actually been able to cross all the way over to Great.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, this fight towards Divider could decide this round. Flit looking to still find some impact over towards B in the meantime.
If they find 1 or 2 here in bathrooms, that would be a recipe for success for VP, but not quite going to go that way. ropz in tandem with ZywOo set up. They find the opening kill, but the real X factor here is Flit, and it seems like that might not pay off. mezii waiting very patiently. Again, Apex-esque. We saw that in the first couple of rounds. These guys have been so patient, and they find their success as a result. This round falling apart for VP. The setup was honestly not that bad. Yeah. But the execution is where things have fallen apart, and Vitality are just going one better in that department.
I totally agree. The spacing on Divider, not great. I think I saw Flit get team flashed multiple times that round. He was team flashed there. You could see his arm up over his face. And this is where, like, I can see what VP are going for, right? They're trying to have that push and pull effect where if somebody finds impact in one part of the map, then somebody else is going to be in a pole position to be able to punish the rotations of Vitality. Unfortunately, when you don't win a single duel and nobody on Vitality makes a mistake, that round looks exactly like you saw in the replays. It's just multiple players running out and getting banged on every angle.
Well, it's the force buy here for VP. half buy, really. Pistol armor. You know, Fame with a Hero Galil. Kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel when you're going for a Hero Galil, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like that B tier hero that you're not like that happy has shown up.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, all right, bro.
What's a B tier hero? If A tier or if S tier is
I don't know,
Superman.
bro. Like Captain Underpants is rocked up when like there's a car accident or something.
That's a throwback.
Everything's on fire. It's an 18 car pile up, and there's just some fat bloke in a pair of undies and a cape, and just like, yeah, all right, man, cool. We're safe. Thank you so much.
That's an analogy I didn't expect to be hearing today.
Shout out Captain Underpants.
Shout out Captain Underpants.
Is that even Aussie?
It might be Australian. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe the people in the chat are like, "What on earth is Captain Underpants?"
They're expecting a different
I promise
search
you,
result.
if you Google it, it's not as weird as it sounds. It is weird.
It is weird.
But it's not as weird
it
as it
is
sounds.
weird. Without the context, it is weird.
Yeah. Well, that's a good start to this round for VP, and a great flash in onto mezii as well is going to disrupt his position. All of a sudden, this goes from being what probably should have been an uninteresting round to actually probably VP's second.
Oh, could get a little bit of a boost up into heaven. Put Perfecto on the hunt. He's doing some sneaky moves because he is currently a secret agent, unless he's gotten an assist somewhere. So looking to crack the donut, so to speak. Maybe find himself a rifle somewhere or other. A lot have been pilfered. You see a couple picked up by VP. Trailing 6-1. This is the round that they needed to find their second here on the T side. Finally hit that timing that they were looking for and recover their economy a little. This will give them some more legs on this T side, Jordan, to start to close the distance on Vitality. Give them access to pretty much a whole nother buy and maybe put the AWP back in Bist's hands.
In saying that, though, it does need to be followed up with something here for VP, right? We saw a few of these kinds of moments for Linvision, for example, in our last matchup where you thought, oh, okay, that's a round that looked okay. That'll get them back into the conversation. But then immediately it gets shut down and it's like, well, it was all for nothing. So let's see if they can actually put 2 or 3 together here, VP, or if this is going to be, once again, a complete shutout from Vitality.
Orbs out for Bist. On same side of the map as Zaiwu. Early on here, just posted over towards Playground. Totem pole boost towards short. See that progression smoke outside of Con and towards short for VP. I'm waiting for the round where they actually start to make some use of that. ropz, once again, dodging the flames. If he goes unchecked inside of connector.
Molly doesn't look like it's going to dig ropz out either. It's not
Hasn't
quite spread.
Cleared the stairs, which is, I think, what the intention was.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't think they were ever actually going to go looking that much in connector here. Seeing passiveness on the backside. I mean, it's a minute. Like 50 seconds has been burned off the clock here, Jordan. And VP, they've thrown utility. They've tickled around the map a little bit, but they haven't really been making any moves. And Overpass is such a big map. This is again going to be another round where it comes down to the last 20, 25 seconds. And there are still a couple of grenades in the back pocket of Vitality. And ropz was lying in wait for such a long time. Does get cleaned out by Perfecto. 35 seconds now, and VP still looking a little bit disjointed.
That said, if VP makes the wrong decision here and goes through Monster Tunnel, they are going to be cooked. Maybe if they go to B in general, because there's this 2 stack outside the Monster Tunnel, which is almost dealt with. flamezii in an awkward position here. Wants to get back across to the safety of the side. It won't happen. There is one man, though, waiting on this side that might be able to make a difference. His name is Apex, and all he has is an M4. 9 seconds. Time was against VP, but it will not matter. Apex gets deleted by Fame, and now it's onto Zaiwu. In the 1v3, he's going to give himself a small chance, but no peak to come for VP, and he decides it's time to save the AWP into the next round.
And VP just continually comfortable running down the clock. Has come to some degree of success a couple of times, and that was a round where, like, I've said it in previous rounds, Vitality holding on to a lot of utility, always aggressing in the mid-round to find out what's going on. I think that the push in towards connector doesn't really tell them that much, though. Like, you see one in the middle of the map. There was pressure everywhere on the map. VP kind of tickling around here and there. They took a little bit of long control, some exchanges over towards Monster. Like, Vitality didn't have solid info that round. And they also didn't have a wealth of utility left over in towards the mid to late rounds. So it felt like their win conditions weren't as strong as what you've seen in previous rounds, and VP was actually able to kind of take a little bit more advantage there.
We'll get a timeout from VP.
Was it? No, it's a Vitality timeout.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah. I don't know. I have this problem now where the names seem so similar. VP, Vitality, like
Dude,
they start with V.
The other day I was
That's good enough to cook me.
In another tournament, I was casting a team called VLT, and we all kept calling them Vitality. We were like, oh my god.
Yep.
When will this end? I mean, yeah, you go 1-for-1 in the middle of the map there. I mean, I'm sure that means something to Vitality, but I'm not sure that that was as strong of an info play as you've seen in other rounds where like if they're shoving down Monster and things like that and they're either seeing nothing or they're seeing like 3 or 4 people. That informs the rotations a lot more strongly, I think.
Well, once again, it seems a fairly standard opener.
Yeah, I mean, every time and time again, this is VP giving the same looks.
Yep.
Vitality, though, really does feel like they are ready for a B play this time. They were expecting an earlier timing with that flash to start things off, but nonetheless, this will be a full B execute from VP after the same opening in previous rounds.
Well, Flamesy in the position where you'd want to be with the MP9 to have an impact. He's going to get flashed out. Great coverage. That's fantastic from VP. And Vitality left reeling after that round. They had the setup.
Yeah. I mean, they did, but like VP, the utility coverage was perfection. Multiple players caught full flashed. Outside of Monster, Zaiwu to take next contact on Pillar was also full blind. There was not a single player on Vitality who could see VP running them down there. That is about as clean as a B-side execute could go. And this is what is nice about VP's T-side right now on Overpass is that, yes, they are running down the clock and there could be some slips and snags that they could trip up on. But what I want to focus on is the early round. I mean, this is really classical T-side conditioning in Counter-Strike. It's the same opening to the round every time. It's the same default every time. It's just a question of what happens in the mid to late round after that. And VP conditioning Vitality to think we're going to come into the sites with, 30 seconds to go. Every time. We're only going to make moves in the middle of the map at about a minute, something like that. That is a round where they wait out that early round timing, avoid the flash play that you've seen a couple of times from Vitality, and then they, at 1 minute 20, hit that beat site. That's not a timing that they've ever attempted before, and you could see it really caught Vitality off.
Lovely stuff as they're starting to recover this T side, and it goes from looking like a game that's going to be dominated by Vitality to, hey, you know what? Maybe VP could get to 6 actually on this T side. Money's looking pretty awkward here in this round for Vitality, so no real investment beyond the couple of saved guns and some pistols here and there. So you'd think that VP will get to at least 5, and that's not a bad T side at all on Overpass. Bit more of an aggressive round out from Vitality this time, and that's kind of what we saw from them earlier in the half, and that was working.
Yeah, every time Toro's been under pressure, though, he's quite happy to fall back in con. Wait to see if the game is going to come to him a little, especially on a round like this. Flit has a little bit of a looks into Monster Tunnel, but is pushed away by the Molotov of Apex there. No more utility left over here by Vitality. Perfecto an inch away from discovering that head stack, but he doesn't go any further.
Gonna walk their way out onto B again. Apex watching on a very, very tight line. We'll just get a bit of a tickle there onto Flit, which will push him away and actually pushes them in the direction of this boost. It looked like Perfecto was going to check, and I think he did, but he just didn't see the feet.
Oh, it was... Who could have spotted the toes faster? And look, Mezii's seen a few toes in his day, I'm sure.
You reckon?
Yeah. I mean, he's got a kid.
Toe tickler, they call him.
4 on 5 though here for VP.
I don't even know. Are they? Yeah, they're going for it. I mean, it's a very bit discombobulated looking round here, but important entry from Toro and Bist, and that is going to be enough to allow them to plant the bomb again at the 11th hour. VP are making it happen.
This is crazy. This is some pure wizardry from VP against one of the most dominant teams this year. They are arriving precisely when they mean to. Last 20 seconds, time and time again, pulling the rabbit out of the hat. ropz looking for exits. That's all that's on offer in a round that felt very winnable after that initial exchange towards that short pipe. VP 5 on the T side of Overpass. Okay. All right. And you know what? This isn't even like anything crazy from Bist. This is just really good T-side calling from VP, which means like they've got enough legs here to actually have a little bit of a crack into this CT side. Of course, you're playing against Vitality's T side. That's not going to be bloody easy, but this is where you have a rookie like Bist who's going to get a chance at a couple of AWPs, you know? Like in that second half, as a rookie player sometimes coming into your map pick, if you're getting stomped by one of the better teams in the world as one of the lower seeds coming into a tournament like this, you might only get to buy the AWP one round, and then if you make one mistake, the AWP's dropped, and then you never get to AWP again. It's like, oh yeah, all of this practice that I put in with the AWP, I never get to actually show it off, but he'll have the chance to have a couple of cracks in this game.
Can I perhaps interest you in a 6th on the T side?
I'd love to see it.
ZywOo, might love to see it as well because he's not had any impact in that round.
He was expecting the jump spot. Again, it's the same kind of thing that I was talking about. The conditioning you've seen for a VP, they've never done that before. It's always been slower rounds. ZywOo's thinking, oh, they're running the same T-side default. I'm looking for the bloke jump spotting on top of the slide. Instead, it's old mate Fame to slide onto his angle and just take his head off.
Foot's gone down in the meanwhile, so it's not the perfect start to the round for VP, but they have a lot of space on this top side of the map that they're going to try and exploit.
Like, we're in the 12th round, and ZywOo hasn't even had the chance to do anything with the AWP this game. In the whole CT side of Overpass. That's crazy.
Slow progression up long. It is ropz's job to defend that, and he is looking mighty locked in.
Won't be tested.
I don't think you can see anything except for his crosshair.
VP going to make their way back towards Con. They have that one player lurking around, hanging around outside of the monster tunnel. So once again, it will be the B site hold. mezii and mezii to defend. mezii dropping that smoke over on the monster tunnel, and the CTs will dig their heels in over there.
There's going to be a quicker play here from VP. Bit of util getting tossed on in. Fame giving away the game. They know that they're coming from short, and this is a scary prospect, but the opening kill goes the way of VP. They've got some trades here and there, but maybe not enough. Vitality will strongly hold for the final round of the half. 7-5. It's anybody's guess as to which way this one will go. So we'll take a halftime break and come back and see if VP can make it happen on the CT side.
was never meant to stay. It was you that put me in. Promised me that we'd be okay. All of your lies I was believing. You were there most of the time, but that was never good enough for me. Had me going out of my mind, had me going round like crazy. But I gotta end this way. Why is there always a struggle for you to let me go? You got me like crazy. Like you were always right and I was always wrong. Crazy, baby, where did our love go? Crazy, like you were always right and I was always wrong. Crazy, attention, where did our love go? You would always bring my fault. You were meant to be here forever. Remember when we used to have it all? We were so good together. Why can't we both feel the same way? Why do I need to explain? You were there most of the time, but that was never good enough for me. Had me going out of my mind, had me going round like crazy. But I gotta end this way. Why is there always a struggle for you to let me go? You got me like crazy. Like you were always right and I was always wrong. Crazy, baby, where did our love go? Crazy.
Here we are for the second half between Vitality and VP. And call me crazy, Pilsky, but I kind of liked what I saw there from VP.
Yeah, I mean, Fame in particular having a massive half for himself. 14-7 overall. Did find 2 opening duels that he was able to win for himself, and 14 of those kills were headshots. And I mean, the reason why that's so important is I feel like VP were running down the clock into these sites late round and had very little time to convert some of these kills. Fame was able to put together 6 multi-frags. Some of those situations really dig VP out of kind of deep waters, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a little bit touch and go for a moment at the start of that half, but they really recovered it nicely. 7-5. We'll see if VP can get underway nicely in the second half. Really looking to hold on to short water. That flash is going to put Toro high and dry on his own. He does get the job done onto Flamesy. And that seems to be enough for VP to say, all right, we'll take that and let you have that short water control.
Yeah, big trap set up around short there. One flash dismantling it enough for Vitality to come away with only a 1-for-1, given the fact that they were running into a pretty big setup, all things considered. Vitality just cutting noise, not giving Virtus.pro anything to work with. Deep position on B long there for Bist. Could go for a little bit of a push in the mid round and actually get a bit of a flank down bathrooms. Indeed, he will. This could be a round-defining play if he picks his timing right.
Might need to slow it up a little, though. If he goes now, he's going to be spotted. I think he's gone a little too soon. He'll have to take the fight to Apex or just turn away and get deleted in the back of the head. So it's on to Fame now. Dualies in hand. It's definitely the weapon to do it with. There we go. 2 tap. Now a third onto the head of Apex, and the round falling apart a little bit. mezii can't salvage. VP are here to play on Overpass.
Fame is just going crazy. 17-7 in this game against a team of Vitality's caliber. He is switched on and giving Virtus.pro the opportunity to be able to win a big upset in this opening game, at least even take a map. This is what I wanted to see from VP.
This is what everyone wanted to see, I think.
After many instances of disappointment from such a storied organization in Counter-Strike, finally starting to get a little bit of something going against Vitality. It's still only early days. This game is far from over.
No, 100%. I mean, look, we're talking obviously very, very positively about VP, but...
I mean, it's really just Fame. Like, who else is actually doing anything on VP?
I guess that's true. Toro got the opening kill in that round. To be fair. You know, awkward circumstances for him.
I assume Perfecto's the one calling.
Yes.
I mean, he's calling an excellent game.
And they know until it's over, especially against the likes of Vitality. We've seen a number of comebacks from them in direr circumstances than this.
Good timing for Flit. Nice flash from Perfecto to set it up. All of Divider cleared out in an instant from Virtus.pro, which allows Fame to turn his attention towards long.
That is indeed where his attention needs to be. It will be the contact play out from Vitality, and they just get farmed. Another 3K for Fame. He's up to 20 kills now. And the scoreline equalizing 7 apiece.
Vitality to put a T-side together. Really what they're going to be cooking up on their T-side pass here. But that is about the best start you could possibly have as VP. Putting 5 rounds together on the T side, a clean pistol into a even cleaner anti-eco. They are putting themselves in the pole position to be competitive with Vitality. Here at 7 apiece. We're dancing around the Molotov. Rest of Vitality joining up with him in a 3-1-1 for now. Mezii's keeping an eye on Con. ropz hanging around outside of Monster. Does seem like Virtus.pro want to contest party.
This is going to be a battle for position, really jostling back and forth, but that util appears to be enough to have forced VP away.
Still hanging around, though. It really feels like they want to take a fight in the middle of the map here. At some point in the round, they just haven't quite found the angle of approach that they were looking for. Still hanging around on front bathrooms.
If they hang around long enough, they are going to find it. Flash to long. That'll be heard by VP. They're thinking about re-aggressing. Nobody watching for it. Zaiwu turns, but he turns too late. Bist will take him down. There's another kill to come through, this time for mezii. So back again in the favor of Vitality, but Fame hanging around. He might have stuck around a bit too long. mezii will capitalize on those footsteps. That might be a fatal mistake for VP.
Yeah, they were cooking something there, but dismantled by a couple of unfortunate timings. Just onto Perfecto and Toro on their respective sides of the map. Vitality just playing this one by the numbers. A 1-3. ropz ready for any kind of short B aggression. And the rest of Vitality stomping their way up into the A side. Perfecto, retake from Bank. Does spot them on the...
that was not Apex, ladies and gentlemen.
That was not Apex. Let's calm down. That would have been a shot to remember. Definitely would have had a noise complaint from your neighbors.
Yep. If
he connected that shot. Just Toro seeing what he can get done with the MP9. Would love an exit frag here. Maybe even try to pick up a rifle over towards party. I mean, ropz is hanging around in the area. Can certainly hear these footsteps.
Wait.
Okay.
That'll be the end of Apex.
I'll take an AK. Thank you very much. Full bell to you two.
Flash over the top. They're giving him some 1-by-1 fights, and he's answering those quite nicely.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Another one for Toro.
I mean, it's keeping it expensive. That's not really something that Vitality can afford right now. Oh, actually, they can. No. They've had more than enough. No. You're, the HUD is tripping me up.
Look, it's not great either way.
It's not great. They lost extra guns there. It was only... I kept second-guessing myself. I was like, oh, VP is the one that won the pistol anti-eco. And they did. But then I saw the money get updated kind of like early on the HUD. I was like, what? How do they only have 3K?
It's probably the extra kill bonus from the CT side.
Anyway.
That you're talking about. Because I think it updates the round money at a different time to the kill money.
Yeah, okay.
If that makes sense.
Well, either way, only one gun surviving is not really what Vitality were looking for in a round that was meant to be so clean. Toro keeping it expensive. And,
come on, mate.
That's
Switch
good
on.
News.
We need the high five.
It's all right.
It's important.
Maybe they've got their own little approach. I think, look, there's some reset potential here for VP. Now he's got Bist with the all-power. First test for him. He's not even going to have an all-pro on the other side of things. So he's going to have free reign here.
Getting aggressive.
In round number 16.
Ooh, where's he gone? Just going to line himself up a flash. I mean, not as aggressive as anticipated.
No, that's very reserved. It's about the safest line you can be taking here on the CT side of Overpass, which tells you a little bit about VP's overall approach. Like, I feel like you'll see an up-and-coming AWP you know, want to play with a lot of, you know, gusto and get involved in the game, really take an opening opportunity. I think the fact that Beast is just digging his heels in, backside of Divides, even all the way back to the site here, means that VP is backing themselves to close out the mid to late round. Maybe that's because they know that Vitality's money is a little bit cooked. They're not going to have the grenades that they need to work with heading into the mid to late round if they run a bit more of a long, drawn-out default. But the same can be said to VP. They're also running out of nades.
Split spotted him. So no secrets as to what Vitality are up to for the most part.
Just the one smoke from Flit will be dumped over onto Monster side, so that's going to kind of disrupt ropz. The main brunt of the push has to be made through short here.
They've got time to wait if they want it. ropz will offer some resistance through that smoke, though, to try to draw a bit of a distraction, but the flashes have gone a little awry. Both Perfecto and Flit winning their opening duels.
Both blind according to the kill feed, but it's not going to matter a damn bit.
Didn't feel like it, did it?
I mean, this is what I was saying. I'm like, VP are so passive in this early round against Vitality. Like, I would think a team like this will be thinking to themselves, man, we need an opening duel to go our way. We need our AWPer to get active against a team that doesn't have great money, won't have an AWP, or maybe enough flashes to be able to push him off the line. VP, it's a complete different approach, kind of similar to their T side, really backing themselves in the mid to late round, quite happy to sit all the way back on the sites and just break down the execute when it comes in.
Tied scoreline once again. Money in a bad spot for Vitality. They'll have to take a save. I was going to say, you know, it's not obviously ideal for VP that they do all that hard work to get it back to a favorable scoreline, only for VP to just take the lead once again.
I mean, VP, if they have a clean anti-eco here, they could be on the verge of an upset.
Yeah, we're very much in that position where it really is going to come down to the wire, it feels like. VP are definitely testing Vitality today on Overpass.
Didn't get the upset that we would have hoped for, especially being big Asian CS enjoyers in that opening game. But I'll take VP putting Vitality in their paces here in Chengdu. Last time I think Vitality was playing in China. Didn't go so great for them in the Shanghai major. I mean, China doesn't have great air quality, so...
There you go. It's better now. A lot of electrical vehicles in China now.
True.
So they're doing a lot in that regard. But that's by the by. Biss has picked himself up a kill in this round, and the rest of Vitality kind of just cowering away in the bathrooms. It's not gone too kindly for them on that entry into A. VP take the lead again, 9-8.
I want to see how Vitality start to adapt to that. The fact that you're just seeing VP sit all the way back. It's like hands off the wheel, you know? They're just in cruise control in the earlier portions of some of these rounds. Quite happy to let Vitality do whatever the hell they want. They're going to hold in their crossfire and break down the round when Vitality actually tries to get into the site.
Yeah.
Also, we'll see. I mean, we'll see if we get some more aggression from VP. Like I said, the T-side conditioning was fantastic. They're well aware of their own tendencies and how to play around them. So that's where you could see them do exactly this. Big move up into party and through the middle of the map. It's only Toro on the B side, on his lonesome. He's taken a big chunk out of ZywOo and taken Flames with him. So he will end up in a winnable 4-on-4 here for VP.
Vitality do read into that, though, correctly. There's nobody else on the B bomb site, so they'll take the site quickly. They'll get a reasonably quick bomb plant here as well, and they even take short water control, so it's not going to make for a easy retake for VP, particularly now that Fame has gone down. mezii taking the fight to Bist. He won't get the better of that one. We are back to a 3-on-2 now as the grenade. Perfect dunk in onto ZywOo, but this is the X-Factor position. ropz catches Flit, then he gets Bist as well. The information didn't come through quick enough, and Vitality hold on again. They equalize the numbers, and now we're at 9-9. It seems we're approaching an overtime very swiftly.
VP trying to kind of stay one step ahead there. Like I said, kind of being aware of their own tendencies, mixing in some aggression. Vitality doing quite the opposite, simplifying with just a monster execute into a B-side afterplant that they're able to win. Both teams running a little bit lighter on the cash here, so somewhat of a swing round at 9 apiece. This could be a defining round as to who picks Overpass up here. Once again, aggression from VP. Flit and Fame getting active in Party and Connector respectively. But at least as far as Fame's concerned, he has got some serious backup.
Oh, missed shot for Bist. Could be a problem, but there is coverage there from VP to trade it down anyway. So 1 for 1. I don't think they'll be too disappointed by it. Perfecto's position, an interesting off angle. See if Vitality dig that one out. It doesn't look like Apex is really across it at the moment, but he has spotted him out now. And now that information has to go through to mezii, who will recover it nicely. But meanwhile, ropz has also gone down. So this is a much more chaotic round. You talked about the conditioning from VP. This time they've thrown a real spanner in the works.
Yeah, I like that they back themselves as well. After it doesn't work out in the previous round, recognizing that Vitality throwing in a B
timing.
execute, they go back to a default. That's a timing that doesn't go well for Fame, but Flit is still in play here. Very much so. Same can be said for Toro. He's over towards the garden bed. Flit going to opt to sculpt into the back of Connector and cut the middle of the map. So he may catch them on the rotation back to B.
Are they going to check it? That's the big question here. Surely they've got to at least trade 1 for 1 here. mezii gets it done, but it costs him a lot of his health. So Molly in to cut off the rotation to the B bomb site. He's just going to have to gamble a plant here quickly, and it looks like he'll get it down. Full
Toro.
belt of util for Toro.
Yeah, he does have a molly. Can definitely flush him off the site. Won't even be required. I think he does see mezii on the cross there. mezii wanting to try to take his head off before he can even make it into the site, but instead will change up his angle.
It's good enough. I mean, it delays him a little bit there. It buys 5 seconds for mezii, and he's got a lot of time that he does need to buy. This molly's going to go in the wrong direction. mezii's now crept his way all the way up to short, and Toro will check it. The headshot was required. It wasn't connected, and Toro will win the round for VP.
It's rough for mezii. I mean, Toro is coming off of the elevation. It's hard to connect the headshot that was needed for mezii with the model moving like that. He puts 3 bullets into Toro, and that's enough time for Toro to win that one-on-one.
Money, pretty awkward here for Vitality. What are you doing as the IGL? Are you calling for a hero AK here for Vitality, or are you taking the save?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could go with this.
Half buy?
Could see a half buy, could see 1 or 2 hero AKs.
I think it's just hero AK with a half buy around the rest of it.
Yeah. Keep the economic pressure on a VP who only managed to scrape through that round, courtesy of a one-on-one from Toro there. VP need all of these little edges going their way to be able to put together an upset. That's some underrated movement. It's a full investment here for Vitality.
Wow.
They smell blood in the water. They know that Virtus.pro are mortally wounded after that last round. But the same can be said for Vitality. Could kind of be signing their own death warrant if they don't get through this round with a win, and definitely if they don't get through this round with a plant.
I mean, a lot of util tossed in at the start of this round from Vitality, so that's going to signify to VP that there's something behind this buy.
Quicker pacing towards Party. Bist falling off the line once again, posting himself up on quite a passive angle. Easy one delivered to him by Apex. The first nail in the coffin here for Vitality.
What's plan B? Might be walk on long and see if they can find themselves an opener over there, which is where Fame is set up. He has been the man of the moment. Tagged down, and there's a player close to Zywoo with the scout. Going to swing with mezii. Mezii's still falling, though. Still makes this a reasonable round thus far for Virtus.pro. Bist missing that shot. Does go down to 5 HP. The paper cuts are starting to cause a bit of a problem here for VP.
There's so many players on this A side for VP because you see Toro has pushed all the way through the other side of the map. He has got B on lock. There is no way you're going to be able to pivot back down here, and not without great difficulty for Vitality. Not that they're even looking to do that. It's creeping up on this short angle of approach. So many players stacked over here for VP. It's a decent flash up over the top, but the crossfire from VP is better. 11 rounds for Virtus.pro here, and look at the money of Vitality.
Yeah, it was a risky force buy, and it's a force buy that has not paid off for Vitality. Brilliant start for Bist. Well done from Fame as well to get himself the 1 for 1, and then this side hold went perfectly for VP as well. So you'd think that VP will be getting to 12 pretty comfortably here, and then Vitality will have to try to dig their way out of that hole.
26 and 11 for Fame. It's just destruction leading the charge for Virtus.pro, but leading the charge for Vitality is mezii, straight through exactly that. Flames inside a connector. Flit has isolated that duel onto ropz. Lurker dealt with courtesy of a beautiful flash from his teammate.
Yeah.
Another round where Vitality is trying to make moves, but they're dropping players on the way through the map.
I've just thrown caution to the wind in that round, Vitality, but it has not worked out. Trying to go quickly and catch Virtus.pro off guard, but...
I mean, yeah, they're looking for that player inside a con. It feels like Vitality, like, they're aware of what the tendencies and the setups are from VP, and they're trying to throw in certain rounds to be able to catch those tendencies, but they're just not calling the rounds in the right rounds to be able to find impact, you know what I mean? Like, they're calling the round where they're looking for that con pick in the round where VP are just chilling back.
Another attempt in toward the A site, and 3 players waiting to greet them.
Nice. No one gets on top of the truck.
Nobody can play top truck. That's important in a round like this one, I'd say.
That'll be a disgusting spot. I mean, not really much needed there. That feels like the death zone for Vitality. Whenever they try to make their way up those stairs, it is bad news.
All right, well, I mean, this is the point at which Vitality need to dig deep, right? Like, if they're going to be that team of old, if they're going to be the Season 1 Vitality, this is where they've got to lock in and turn it on, win 3 in a row, win an OT, go on to map 2, close it out 2-0. We all forget what happened on Overpass.
Yeah, they cannot afford to get knocked into the lower bracket here, that's for sure. Here's only map 1, though, and VP, I mean, it's been a great game plan. We knew that they were prepared for this series in particular. I said it in the interview. Fame is putting on a masterclass, but the calling and the setups have been even better, I would say. It is the issue of being a team of Vitality's caliber, is that other teams are looking at you and preparing hard for you, and if they can have a good game, one of the individuals pop off and the game plan works, then that can be enough to get yourself a dub, at least on one map against a team of Vitality's caliber.
All right, Vitality, what is the name of the game here? It's fast in toward Party. They take that fight initially, a 1-for-1 against Fame.
He's always good for at least one. Inside a connector, oh, Flit. It's perfect timing from him. I mean, in the early rounds, VP just continues to come out ahead here.
I mean, this might just be wrapped up with the 4-on-3, but we'll see what happens. ropz is in a bit of an interesting position.
Wow.
Perfecto gets the better of mezii. Now down to 2. Vitality faltering.
Oh, Flit pushing up the flank as well. ZywOo, knife in hand. He doesn't even know what bloody year it is. ropz now in a 1-on-4. Capable of winning it, but it doesn't really feel like it's Vitality's day, at least here on Overpass.
ropz will need some magic, and he's not going to get it. 13-9. Virtus.pro will take map 1. The job is not yet done, but that was an impressive display from them, and it certainly makes you feel as though there is something on offer for VP today.
Totally agree. Great calling on the T side, quite comfortable with run. Something Vitality might want to go towards.
Yeah.
So we've already seen a great game plan, some great preparation going into Overpass. Let's see if they're going to have the same going into Dust2, or whether Vitality will be able to bounce back as is expected of a team of their caliber. You know, big deal, rough opening game as we head into, you know, Overpass. If your opponent's map pick, it's one of the weaker maps in your pool. But now is the time to really step up and show why you are one of the favorites for this event.
T-side start for Vitality. 2 grenades out for VP. What are they going to get up to with those?
Perfecto taking them over towards Catwalk, so maybe a little bit of a nade thrown into lowers after Flit. He takes some contact. Does have the dualies in hand, and he will be tested here.
Yeah, Smoke's going to go down at the mid doors. Flit, though, not going to be turned away by that. Here comes that grenade. The dualies not quite able to capitalize on their position, though. The grenade did do a pretty substantial amount of damage. It is going to leave the B site looking a little weaker. Onto just the shoulders of Fame for the moment over there, but the push is going in the direction of short.
Perfecto over there with Toro, and a little bit of help from Bist as well. Another nade maybe thrown in Vitality's direction. Perfecto looking to unsettle them with the flash, maybe bait out a little bit of a reaction because there's a big setup. Another flash being prepped by Bist. He rips it, catches at least one player on Vitality. A huge mid-crunch from all of the CTs here. How does that happen? Virtus.pro, a man down, but it didn't feel like it.
That is what you love to see. I got to say, historically speaking, VP has been one of those teams I just couldn't find a way to care about. I have watched a lot of VP.
What? Which one? Like the recent one?
Like within the recent 12 months, let's say. Like I'm not talking Virtus.pro. I'm talking the last sort of 12 to 18 months. I'm talking the VP that lost to Rare Atom, okay?
Oh, you can't be losing to Rare Atom.
You can't be losing to Rare Atom, boys.
Come on.
So, I kind of come into this like, this is going to be a bit of a snoozer game, but like, I'm low-key caring here. I want to see something more from VP. This is kind of getting me going a little bit.
I think we found out who cars. It's me. And Biss hasn't even really been a factor that was needed thus far from Virtus.pro. We can get it done with some great calling, some great utility, some great shooting from Fame, which has continued into the pistol he's picked up too. And Vitality not buying up anything into this round. Just waiting out for any kind of aggression in the mid-round from Virtus.pro, but they'll only be handed a smoke. So instead, we'll make their way back towards Catwalk.
Yeah, early days, right? Very, very standard approach here from VP. I think we can expect something a little bit different from them later on in the half. They've done a good job of that on Overpass, and I don't see why that would necessarily change here.
Toro tucks himself into Goose. Nice nade there. Well timed from Flit.
That's a really nice grenade. A lot of damage done. Flit, though, copping a headshot or two, and he will fall. So some damage being done here by Vitality, but should be an easy cleanup for Toro, and it is.
That's gorgeous. I saw him do exactly that in the Studio Ghibli films. Gorgeous. 4K from him. You're not getting the reference.
That one's gone over my head because I am not a nerd.
You're not an anime enjoyer, I can tell.
I'm not, yeah.
Someone in chat knows what I'm talking about.
Someone in chat is a nerd.
Can confirm. Many nerds in chat. Esports teams.
I'm just a Chad who plays Counter-Strike.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, been hitting the DMs, mate. Feeling pretty sharp today. That's what Fame said before this game. Toro's starting to join as well. Nice little anti-eco farm for him. Will give him a little bit of confidence. Vitality waiting for their timing to test him on long.
Yep.
Humble him a little bit after a nice multi-frag in the last round.
Well, first gun round will be a big one here for VP if they can get underway with a win. Really, really put that momentum in their favor.
Toro jostling for position, changing up the angle. After the smoke does go down, looking to potentially play anti-flash. He's aware that there could be a timing here for Vitality, but the contact approach catches him off.
Yeah, just a bit too worried about that flash. It's going to end up being his undoing, and it might actually be the undoing for this round in general. Flit, the only defender on the A side, and his position is well and truly known.
They just keep going.
I mean, at this point, it's just a save for VP.
Legit. Unlucky, guys. Just two bad timings. And it's back to the drawing board for Virtus.pro. Not the way that they would have wanted their first gun round to be going, but Vitality will definitely take that. And early on, that's going to be some nice conditioning for Vitality that Virtus.pro will have to respect some of these contact approaches. Doesn't really tell VP too much about what Vitality want to be doing in the rest of the game either. Although for a team like Vitality, as mentioned previously, you know, the tendencies are well established. They're really the team that many teams have their eyes on, and they have to continue to adapt as time goes on. Bist able to leg one, does see the Galil over there towards spawn, and it seems like he's interested in it. He's well aware that the bomb will blow that in his direction, and he's going to go and grab it. Nice heads-up play from the rookie.
That's just how easy it is to get literally anything delivered in China. I don't know when you were last in China, but
robots and that.
You can order anything anywhere.
Anything?
You order some food, the robot will bring it up to your hotel room for you. It's beautiful.
And it does a little cute, like, anime face at you.
Yeah.
Off the little LED screen.
Probably makes a few noises.
Yep, says something in Chinese. I don't know.
Ni howdy.
Ni howdy. Sure, let's go with that. See if mezii will give them a customary greeting of Britain. Unfortunately, not quite able to give someone the shift there. And
I didn't know where that was going. Can't believe you said
Look,
that.
I lived with a Brit for the majority of this year. I know how they get down over there.
Okay. Fair enough. We'll move on. Flamesy, set up by the blue bin here. I mean, it's still a bit of a nut to crack here, this long hold. Got a player in pit, player at car, and you've also got Flit up toward the site itself. So three-pronged defense. You are going to see the... Well, it looked like a peek through from VP, but they don't have any flashes really to set this up at the moment.
Toro's a sneaky boy.
Someone's got to help this guy in pit.
No, he's waiting in the wings. They've left him high and dry, but he's found Flamesy nonetheless.
Help my boy!
Just trying to take any
Where
more
are
time.
they?
And VP, they well and truly know what is on the cards here. Big high-low between 3 different players that Vitality will need to dismantle, and it's looking too difficult for them. Biss from up on high.
All right.
Flank comes in as well.
You know what? That's okay. If you let Toro die and then you do that, that's okay. We'll take that. High fives all around.
He had 30 HP and a glil. All right.
Yeah, I know.
That's all he needed to do there.
I'm just saying, save my boy, you know?
Nah.
He's putting in a shift for the boys and they just dogged him.
They did. Hey, look, he went a little too hard too early, all right? He's not going for the all-weekend bender.
Okay.
He's had to head home, and that's okay. You know, sometimes you got to make the sensible decision, cut your losses. Toro, first to receive contact over on long, will concede control. Couple of flashes and HE's returned in Vitality's direction, but there's no real interest going on from there, except from Vitality. They're looking to pick up the pace straight into the A site here.
Oh, Molly will slow them down for the moment. They've got to smoke off the cross. The grenade is so good. And then the shot's in as well. Here we go. Toro delivering again a double kill. And VP are looking like a V team in the server at the moment, which would not have been something I would have believed if you would have told me before we started watching this game. ropz has a moment, an opportunity. And nearly gets himself too. Can't quite capitalize.
Another individual putting on a clinic for VP in this game. It's Toro's turn to frag. Do have Flit waiting for the rest of the boys to make their way up cat. Just biding his time inside of CT. mezii and Apex. Couple of grenades between them, but they've got a little bit too much work to do here.
It's not a bad grenade, but the headshot hits a bit different. Apex with the molly to try to slow things down. He's going to try and make a play of it. Smoked off immediately. Defuse inside the smoke and good coverage from Flit. It will make for an easy finish there for VP. Giving a bit of extra time to go hunting for a gun. Is there an AWP? Yep, Flit's got it.
3K on a couple of these players from Vitality. Like, they are pretty broke after that last round. Toro, what did this guy eat between maps? Some kind of, like, protein bar, you know?
No, bro, it's China. It's Chengdu. Spicy food.
Spicy food?
He had a hot pot.
That would be impressive. He'd probably have to have one of those like mini hot pots brought to him.
Yeah, I'm sure you can do that.
On the little burner in between maps.
No, the way they do it is like it comes in like a bag.
Oh yeah,
in a really warm, hot, like it's boiling hot in a bag.
Yeah.
And then you pour it in the bowl yourself.
I was just in Bangkok, man. I'm well aware.
It's good. That's the goods.
Just 4 bags in a bigger bag.
Yes.
Soup and noodles.
You like bags? We've got bags.
We've got bags on bags.
Not the bags you're thinking, but we've got bags.
I mean, the way Toro's playing, I wouldn't be surprised. But look, we're not going to continue with any allegations here. Vitality maybe receiving some fraud allegations if this game keeps going the way that it's going. VP really looking good to tee themselves up for a 2-0 upset. A win on Dust2 would be pretty bloody legit.
Yeah. I don't think anyone was expecting this. I mean, we were watching the pre-show, I guess, the start of the top of the show with Stunner and Steel on the desk, and Stunner asked, who do you think's the sort of the front runner? And obviously, you know, Vitality was the first name that came out there.
Yep.
Well, what about now?
Oh,
what about VP?
What about Bist? Forget about Bist. Apex hits him with the Ferrari peak on the scout. Can be difficult to deal with at times. Plant going down for sure here. VP haven't made any moves into the middle of the map. They're going to try to complete this retake in from CT spawn.
Well, let's not get too excited just yet, because this is a round that could go very awry for VP, and that could allow Vitality right back in the discussion. Good shot from Fame. Toro just waiting patiently, but he's going to have to activate at some point. That smoke is definitely causing problems. Here is another kill from Perfecto, and Toro has bided his time nicely. He gets some good damage down. There's a kill. He's in the 1v1. He needs to move quickly. Does have the defuse kit and wins the duel and wins the round. VP, by the skin of their teeth, are going to get through with a 5th.
They got so much value out of just a couple of flashes and mollies. Coming from such an awkward angle of approach. I don't know how they were actually able to get those mollies up onto Cat. They were throwing that window flash coming in from CT that was catching a couple of players. felt like they were fighting their way out of a wet paper bag, trying to run up from CT spawn there. But somehow they were able to break out and scrape together just enough time for Flit to win on one-on-one. Another small moment that could have really gone either way, similar to that clutch that Toro was able to win on Overpass early on in the first half. Few of these touch-and-go moments going the way of VP. But if they're able to put together an upset, that would kind of undersell saying that those moments were the difference as to why VP actually were able to put together this upset. I mean, it's just been solid Counter-Strike on top of a couple of these breaks going their way as well.
It's not over till it's over. But 5-1 is looking very good. All out for ZywOo. That could be the difference maker.
Finally. I mean, I feel like that's the first thing I've seen him do with the AWP this entire series. Like, he wasn't able to do anything with it on the CT side of Overpass. I don't think he really had it very much on the T side. It just really has not been a factor for Vitality. And part of that, I mean, might be down to individual performance, but part of that is down to VP's game plan as well. Like, I feel like a lot of the time, they're just not giving many opportunities to the AWP.
Maybe that has to change going forward, because that was a solid shot from ZywOo. Has set Vitality up nicely for this round. But knowing what I know about VP now, I have some degree of faith that they might still be able to make something happen here. Flit's got some info. mezii going to peek him and go down. And in the meanwhile, by the way, ZywOo tagged down to 17. Damage is being done all over the map. And here's a push in that will get the better of Perfecto. And that might just rip the game open for Vitality. This could well be their second. Yeah,
Perfecto, he's calling an excellent game, but individually he's had a rough series. And that was a frag he needed to deliver. He was in a great position to be able to do so. I think ropz kind of checked that angle on top of Heaton quite lazily there and still was able to come away with the duel. So, yeah, look, Vitality taking advantage of that. We'll put them together a second T-side gun around here. Money on VP is starting to run a little low as well. I wonder what they're going to be putting together in that next round, because they really don't have very much loss bonus built up yet.
I don't know they've got any loss bonus built up.
Yeah. Might just have to be a force around the AWP and the M4.
Yeah.
And if they lose that one, that's where, like, yeah, we've talked about a great upset on Overpass. Really nice opening 6 rounds here from VP. But if Vitality get control of the economy, start winning a couple of these rounds on the T side of Dust2, a map that they've been 9 from the last 10 in the last 3 months.
And also, how good is VP going to be on the T side of Dust2 is a real question mark.
That's where, like, this series could definitely start to turn. You really cannot count a team of Vitality's caliber out at any point in time.
Agree.
For anyone that's been watching, especially their dominant run of tournaments this year, the kind of comebacks that this team has put together, would really just be a pretty routine day at the office for Vitality to turn this series around.
I think it's up to VP to ensure that that can't happen, right? We know that Vitality have got it in them. We still don't really know what to make of this VP yet, but we are impressed by the early signs. Bist doing what he needs to do in this round. Going to try to get aggressive. He's pushing through the mid doors. They've set Toro up as well to try to work his way down middle. That M4, see if he can take an early fight. He's going to get some assistance from those players at the long doors as well.
Yeah, mezii not completely aware that he's in spot of danger here in the meantime. Vitality have forced their way into this big site. mezii punishing the peak. Trade.
Oy.
Does come in from Flit, so at least one gun found on the other side of the map. Virtus.pro, look, overall, picking up a second rifle going into that one. 5-7 handed to Perfecto. Makes it very clear what the intentions here are from VP. It's really just looking for damage and trying to min-max the money heading into that next round. And given the fact that Fame only had 1,400 there, he was essentially double eco going into this round. Finding that extra AK from mezii on that side of the map is actually pretty big for VP to put together a better buy coming into that next round.
Yeah, it's a good round for VP, definitely. It's a small win, but a win nonetheless.
Take what they can get. Small edges are necessary against a team like Vitality, but Vitality, that's a second round in a row where they've been able to abuse that beat timing a little bit. That's where I'm looking at someone like Perfecto as an anchor. In the past, has had a reputation of being a fantastic anchor on some more star-studded teams. Nowadays, I mean, especially with the weight of, I'm assuming, the RGL duties in this particular series, maybe not looking as switched on, as sharp, as untestable as he did in the past, but he needs to rediscover some of that form, because if Vitality decide that you're a liability on that B side, they will just keep coming at you.
Yep. Big round coming up. Let's have a look and see what the setup's going to be. Fame over towards the B side this time.
And Zywoo spots a late cross. It's a slower approach in the early rounds here from Vitality. Waiting to see if VP's going to mix in some aggression early on. mezii really self-sufficiently exploring the middle of the map. Not too much support from the rest of the team. Going to have a boost up, so a little bit more of a lean to defending mid to B. Should that come into fruition later into the round. Both teams holding a lot of nades into the mid to late round. A minute 10 on the clock, and VP still with plenty of utility, but this is exactly what I was talking about. You see Vitality just holding for any aggression in the early round, and now it's time to go once again and try to breach that B side. But this is where Perfecto is actually boosted up to defend the mid to B, and you've got two players ready to defend this B site from Virtus.pro, so I like the adjustment.
Yep. Also not really seeing anything on long, so VP pretty happy with the information that they've got at the moment.
Yeah, you think you were going into Perfecto, but you're going into Flit and Fame. It's going to be a little bit harder of a sight.
Flashes into mid. Perfecto biding his time. Molly's going to fizzle. Won't be able to dig him out, so Perfecto's going to be good for one, but the B hold has not gone Perfecto.
Yeah, I don't think it matters who's on B right now. Vitality are still going to run you over. That felt like a much better setup from VP, you know? It was a mid to B split. Perfecto got a free B, but the hold inside of the B site was a non-factor. Picked apart far too easily. And that's the third round in a row that Vitality have pretty effortlessly cracked that B site. It's going to demand some respect here for Virtus.pro. They're going to have to take a timeout or make some adjustments fast, because look, what was a 5-1, 4-0 lead at the start of this game is very quickly starting to swing in the other direction.
Definitely. Yeah, momentum shift has very much come through. Toro not being able to find his way into a lot of these rounds recently. Was the standout at the start of the half. The X factor for VP. He was doing a lot of that work over towards the A side, but Vitality have said we don't want to go A anymore. So it's time for a tack timeout here, I imagine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Gonna need some serious adjustments here from VP. We'll see if they want to tackle this issue head on with just some small adjustments inside of how they want to be holding the site itself. Maybe change up the setup a little bit, or whether they do want to start to actually change up the overall macro approach. Maybe some more aggression into the middle of the map, get a little bit more active on lowers, and kind of tackle holding B from that angle instead.
You would think with a start like that to the round, Perfecto getting the opener on the players working their way through middle, that would have been a good setup for VP. But
I mean, you could see it there in the kill feed. Zywoo's flash catches both of the B players, and it's pretty easy pickings from Vitality there. So not a clinical enough anti-flash setup on the site. Maybe this time it'll be long that'll be contested.
Yeah, and that's where things were a bit more difficult for Vitality. This time, again, it seems to be following suit. Flit with one, helped out by, again, some nice flashes from Bist. And it's a 2-for-1 favoring VP. The A side definitely looking good for the CT side.
Toro is battered and bruised yet again here. Has been abused in this position, has come up clutch in this position already in this game. Won't be tested yet again. We'll shut the door with a smoke and block things off for now. Instead, turn our attention to the middle of the map. ropz is over here. Zywoo heading in that direction as well, but all of VP are here and ready to fight. B site completely given up. They've completely centralized their setup, and they're looking to aggress.
So it'll be a tough hold to break for Vitality, particularly if the timing goes well for VP, which it looks that it might. Fame perhaps take that first contact. No, it'll be the push up short. Perfecto gets one, and then Fame another. And VP are right back into the driver's seat.
It is by no mistake that they keep coming away with rounds like that. The reads and the calling from Virtus.pro in this series has been phenomenal. With the man advantage, they don't let the game come to them. They don't play split around the map. Choosing to just aggress as a team and commit to a cohesive game plan together. One step ahead of a Vitality who it didn't look like a single one of those players was ready to take those duels.
Oh, okay. Zaiwu with the opener onto Perfecto will make this one a bit more difficult for VP, but they've already crossed 2 players up to top mid and into Suicide, and I don't know if Vitality are 100% on the money just yet as to that having occurred. Zaiwu is going to go down for free. There's another player to worry about and another, but they're not aware of Flit.
Yeah. He's kind of ended up being the bait setup. Trigger discipline from this man. He's heard the Molotov in towards bedroom. I don't know if you can hear those steps over towards the B side, but nonetheless, Virtus.pro will get 2 players inside of the site. Bist, vision obscured. He's tossed in a couple of grenades there and blown the smoke wide open.
Here we go. This is definitely a round on offer for VP. If they can delay just long enough for that rotation to come through from Flit, then maybe another round goes their way. Bist in the Molotov, in the fire. Will not get much done, but Toro again steps up, and as the push comes through from the smoke, he will fall. It's on to Flit, but he is on such a fast flank timing. Mezii thought he was aware of it, but he's not. And 7-4 will be the score. VP get away with another cheeky one.
It's just another round where VP have read things super well. They lost Perfecto on the cross. They're playing a man down right from the get-go. Little bit of a bait setup inside of Suicide. And you could hear that. You could see that Flick could hear all of those footsteps towards B. They rotate accordingly. Stack that B side, and Flick's flank time, he catches multiple players off guard. Oh, another attempt on the Flick shot. It's the same round run again here from Virtus.pro. Straight up the guts, but this time Vitality is ready for it.
Oh, Zaiwu is looking dangerous with that scope in hand. Toro, the standout player for VP, down early in this round. They're going to have to dig deep to get through this one.
Vitality waiting for more aggression. It may be given to them. It's only a matter of time before they look to collapse in towards middle as a team. And you can see Virtus.pro with 3 players over there. Even the B-side anchor is making his way back towards mid. They want to, again, try to fight for this control. Flash up over the top, dodged well by Fame. Courtesy of some good position with the power pole. But Flit, not feeling like he's got the power position, will fall away back towards the A side.
He dropped it to CT, did he? He did.
They're going to go again?
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
They're thinking about it. I think they're going to go again.
Molly onto short, try and dissuade Vitality from working their way up there and see what Flick can do. 1 for 1 through the mid doors, but Perfecto still hanging around.
Oh,
might have been the difference maker, but doesn't win the duel against ropz, and it's all down to Bist as he tries to stave off a 5th for Vitality. He's got that 5-7 in hand, more importantly a grenade, but it's not quite going to connect onto ropz, so he'll go through the smoke with a flash, straight into a headshot from mezii. 7-5 the first half, not a bad one for VP. Are you a believer? Well, let us know as we head into the halftime break whether or not you can think, when you think VP can win this series. VP win map 1. They're up 7-5 here on the second map. It feels as though the 2-0 may be within striking distance for them. The question remains, though, how solid is their T-side going to be on Dust2? They knew that they were going to play Overpass coming into this series. They were very prepared for that, clearly. But how are they going to look here on their opponent's map pick on T-side with a new lineup?
I'm quietly confident. The calling on Overpass was excellent, and I think the calling on the CT side and the mid-rounding was fantastic from Virtus.pro. And yet again, this has been a game where an individual has stepped up. It was Fame on Overpass. Toro's been the one to do the lion's share of the work here on Dust2.
Oh, look at this setup, though, from Vitality. Everybody on long is getting their head lopped off. VP with the pistol round masterclass have just deleted a few of those Vitality players. Still one more at car. That could be a big difference maker if VP neglect to check. And it would seem that they have. Apex, though, as soon as he chooses the time to strike, is immediately turned on. But ropz is doing some real damage. Headshots, not enough. VP have the second half pistol, and they have that chance at a 2-0.
Even in the 2-on-5, you saw how dangerous that could have been for Virtus.pro. But still able to come away with the round. Beautiful denial of aggression there. Biss, fully blind, gets a little bit lucky on the first, but the rest of those players scaling out together. One or two must have been anti-flash, or maybe the flash just doesn't go deep enough to catch enough of those players on Virtus.pro.
Mag 7, double scout.
Yep, let's see how it goes. Apex, straight into lowers. He's taken a couple of pot shots with the USP. He said, come have a go. We've taken a save.
Yep.
He's being very cheeky about it. The scout will rattle off, though. They'll be well aware that at least one of these players has gone for a little bit of a purchase.
Yeah, and I think if they're really sort of switched on here, VP, they've seen enough utility to think, okay, this is an investment of some sort. There was 2 nades thrown into the long doors. There was a smoke outside of B. You're kind of putting two and two together here that there is an investment from Vitality in this round.
Pressure on Catwalk there from Virtus.pro, but immediately making their way back towards double doors. Both of the scouts heading in that direction, though. ZywOo and mezii, hand in hand, looking to harass the T side as they kind of meander around Xbox right now. This is very Virtus.pro, though, at least so far in this series. They do like to take their time, but the more time they take, the more shots you'll get rattling off from the scouts. Slowly but surely, doing more and more damage to Virtus.pro.
Yeah. Flit's going to have a go anyway. ZywOo pushed back away into CT spawn. But VP, I mean, what's the plan here?
Sometimes it doesn't feel like there is one, but they seem to quite often put the pieces together.
Well, looks like it's going to be go toward A, which is where Apex is waiting with that Mag 7. Will it be a Swag 7? I think it might. He surely gets at least one. No, the game is up. Fame will delete him. The bomb plant is going to go down. mezii with a jumping scout denies it. It won't happen. He gets it a little bit too little too late. Flit gets an important kill onto flamezii. Straight out into mid, though. Gives up his life. mezii waiting for him. It's a 2v3, but a couple of very low HP scouters does make for a difficult retake here. ropz creeping up with that MP9. Feels as though he'll have to be a difference maker, and it won't be the case. Jumping scout, again, ambitious here from mezii. It would be a hero play, an ace with a jumping scout. It's not quite going to be the jumping scout, but he'll push his way forward, still looking for the ace. Won't get it. It's VP that take another round and calm down.
mezii does his absolute best there. Huge 4K from the man. Delivering great impact with the scout there. Good attempt on the force buy, but when you have both Fame and Toro in the 2-on-3, you're feeling pretty safe for Virtus.pro. These guys have been money time and time again for Virtus.pro today. And of course, they're going to deliver that XVX win.
Jump spot from Biss, almost punished.
I mean,
mezii's been dangerous with this scout.
they're just running it back. Apex has got the Mag 7 back in his hands. Dodges the flash, but flattened by Flit.
Good setup there for VP. ZywOo also spotted out.
mezii firing away, continuing to spam. This time, Virtus.pro, it's a little bit more pacey. Flit flattened again by ZywOo. Nice dig shot from him. And they're looking for a little bit more here, Jordan.
Might get it. But they might walk their way into Perfecto's Mac 10, and that is pretty much going to be that.
Yeah, I think Virtus.pro, well aware that they spent such a long time putting that last round together anti-eco, or at least against the force buy, that It gave Vitality a little bit too much to work with, a little bit too much time to do some shenanigans. This time, just a little bit more of a straightforward approach, sending things straight up cat. Should be double digits for them. Very much an opportunity at an upset on the cards here for Virtus.pro. Opening game of IEM Chengdu.
Yeah, you're not going to get a better chance against a team like Vitality than this.
To reiterate, I mean, we do have the other game going on the A stream. It's the grand final rematch, I believe, from last year's Chengdu between Mouse and FaZe. That is who you're playing in the lower bracket, the loser of that series. So you could potentially have Vitality up against a Mouse or a FaZe in an elimination game of the group stage. That would be ridiculousness.
Yeah, it's a tough tournament, this one. A lot of good teams at the event. VP was probably not one of those teams that you would have put into that category, but apparently we have to reconsider.
I mean, that does make an event like this so much more interesting, though. Unfortunately, haven't really seen, especially the hometown representatives, be that competitive in a tournament like this, but you need a couple of those teams that you don't expect as much from to deliver, and it seems like VP, at least here in Chengdu, will be the ones to do that. Nice shot from Bist on the cross. ropz barely clinging to life here.
A little bit of a tickle there for Flit. I wonder if that was heard by mezii, who was sort of just floating around in middle.
Hands off the middle of the map here for Vitality. Set up much more heavily towards holding on to that long control and defending the B site.
Mid to B would be a pretty good call at this point.
Yeah. mezii still a lot of utility, but ropz was legged earlier on, so I don't know how much he's really going to be able to do on this B site.
It's a good kill from mezii. That's the opener onto Bist, and Perfecto getting tagged down. He's at least made that cross with relative safety, and he'll hide inside the smoke for the moment, waiting for the rest of the troops to get themselves in position. But they're not having an easy time of it. ZywOo's in CT spawn. He's actually dropped the bomb. Perfecto's timing is key here. And he does spot out mezii. Can't quite flick it on the ropz, who was very low. ropz with the double. You asked, what could he do on low HP? Well, that is exactly it. And that might be a round winner for Vitality.
When he gives his opponent half a second to react and immediately snaps his head off, it doesn't really matter if he got legged on the cross earlier. 30 seconds on the clock. Flit, if anything, looking for damage. mezii slowly closing in from Catwalk. A much-needed recovery round from Vitality to avoid what could be very close to series point from Virtus.pro early on. They're giving themselves a little bit more room to work with here.
Yeah, that's just such a critical kill for mezii. And ZywOo over the top of the smoke as well. Gets himself one, which is going to be a real helping hand. But still a bit of a ways to go here for Vitality.
It's be a big round for them to win. You can see Virtus.pro very much running out of money at this point. Bist, main man on this rookie with the AWP. Oh, can't quite connect the shot. Would have been a great opener for Virtus.pro to find.
Yeah, timing was almost there. He waited. Just waited a little bit too long.
Back towards the middle of the map. mezii set up with Apex to harass Virtus.pro as they try to make moves towards Catwalk here. Need to make sure this close corner doesn't go unchecked.
Seems like VP for the moment are happy to wait it out, as has become customary for them.
Flash into the middle of the map. mezii has a little bit of a look at Xbox. Virtus.pro waiting for some aggression there. mezii further reinforcing this hold towards mid and Catwalk with ZywOo on the line. This is going to be a bloodbath.
mezii stomping around in middle, will not get punished on the exit.
So much utility in the back pocket here for Vitality. They feel like with 45 seconds on the clock, they should be able to hold this late round approach. Missed opportunity from ZywOo.
Yep, they've lost a lot of control on short, which is going to be a bit of a cause for concern. Molotov to go through will relieve some of that pressure for Vitality, and they can turn their attention back toward middle. But at this stage, I don't think they know exactly where VP are going to go.
Apex looking to disrupt. Wants to come up huge here on this mid to B. It's a beautiful flash from mezii.
Yeah, 20 seconds left on the clock, and time is really starting to become a problem for VP. Apex's kill has slowed them down dramatically. Still one more player to find on the B bomb site, but they've got to be aware of that push coming out through the smoke as well. And ropz again gets himself a double. That will be the mid to B deleted once more by Vitality.
And 2 from 2 rounds at Virtus.pro. Try to go for that approach. Bist being hunted down. Apex running at him. AWP denied. $150 in the bank account Vitality are here to play. They do not want to go into the lower bracket of Chengdu this early on.
Vitality is locking in. VP need to find a way to lift as well. This was a huge round from Apex. Big stuff as well from ropz, it has to be said.
It's just a perfect flash there from mezii. You had the molly and the nade to hold them at bay from Apex, and they set up the flash play exactly when they know VP finally has some space to make their way through the mid doors. Every single time Virtus.pro tries to pull off one of these mid to B approaches, it's just a disruption in the mid round from Vitality. It's never a clean execution. It's never an easy inroads straight up that B ramp into the site. It always takes them ages to be able to make it happen. And that's where there's room for mistakes for Vitality to punish.
Well, not going to be too much coming out of this one for VP. Just take a little bit of an opportunity to reset, have a chat about what they're going to do in the next gun round. Waste a bit of the CT util if possible.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you play some tougher T-side gun rounds a lot of the time because Bist has got no cash. Somebody's going to have to go down to a Tech 9 or something like that, and the rest of the team is either down to Galils or they're going to be a little bit lighter on the util. So compared with what Vitality is going to be bringing into these next few rounds, they're going to have plenty of cash to work with. They're going to have the AWP up on ZywOo for quite a while. This is where I would think he would start to get more comfortable and get worked into this game. He just really hasn't been a factor at all this series. Can only really remember 1 or 2 shots from ZywOo this entire series long. We're pretty deep into the second map here.
Well, you wouldn't want to give him the opportunity to get going on a third. It's Apex that's doing the lion's share of the defense on the A site this time around. On 1 HP will not be a 1 HP wonder. 10-8. VP still hold on to the lead, but it is closing.
Hoping for a plant there. Try to shore up the util a little bit more on a couple of these players. Maybe get Bist even on a Galil, but will not be allowed. A shutdown from Apex. Vitality now within touching distance of winning their map pick. It was a little bit more labored than maybe they would have liked. Bist onto the scout. Quicker play towards Long here.
Well, Long was working for VP on CT side. Let's see how it goes on T side. Fame and Flit eating a lot of damage on the way in, courtesy of a grenade or two.
It's a reply from Vitality. Long control secured from Virtus.pro, but this is where I was saying they have pretty light utility in a round like this. They might not have the grenades they need to be able to run a more drawn-out gun round where they work the middle of the map after initially taking long control. So I was wondering if they're going to just use the long control and kick off that A-side execute. But instead it will be this. They're going to work their way all the way back to B and look for a timing. They know that they pulled the rotation away over to that A site. So now they really just try to catch ropz. If they could just catch ropz on the right timing, that B site is free, and they could definitely win an afterplant there.
Well, Bist is doing his best to try to fake the A site take. He's dropped the smoke for the cross. He's done a bit of damage actually there to flamezii as well. ropz wisely has dropped his own smoke, but a contact play into B feels like it is the best option here for VP. And as you say, if they can catch ropz, they can win this round. And he is in a very catchable position. A 1-for-1 is exactly what VP is looking for. Bist surviving as well on the other side of the map is still going to be a bit of a factor here. The rotation through middle will be slowed down as they're worried about him. The plan's gone down. VP trying to hold this B side against the retake from Vitality.
No flashes from Vitality here, and there are still a couple of mollies from VP. Very uncomfortable to get this retake going if you are Vitality.
They know that they can't go through upper dark either because there is that ever-present threat of Bist coming through from A long being somewhere. He's floating around and they're aware of that. Flip gets aggressive, goes ahead of the play, takes himself a 1-for-1, and that should be enough to win it here for VP. Perfect call to go towards the B bomb site. They've got a lot done with a little in that round. And once again, that will restore the faith that VP might be able to make it happen here against Vitality today.
I mean, this is not a coincidence. This is not a fluke. This is just perfecto calling from Virtus.pro. Pardon the pun. Saw the same thing on Overpass. Some great conditioning over there this time. Limited util, a little bit of a lackluster buy. Long control into an isolation of that B anchor. And you could see how impossible it was for Vitality to retake the B site without any flashes. Could not break that hold. Double AWP now out for Vitality. Looking to change things up. No AWP on the side of Virtus.pro. Bist just as the scout.
Double scout was effective for Vitality earlier on in the half. So I imagine the double AWP might be able to get a bit of work done as well. Molly's going to stop the progress of Apex up short, but it still looks like it's going to be a mid-crunch here for Vitality. Flash being lined up by ZywOo. Flit has spotted the info, and he'll get a Molly down on short as well, which will perhaps disrupt this from the CT side.
Yeah, it's a complete disengage there for Virtus.pro. Nice little spot out there from Flit on top of Xbox. Means that the jig is up for Vitality. I don't think VP is going to be falling into that trap, and Vitality will accordingly give up the mid control now. The AWPs have not even had really a chance to find a pick yet, and we've got a minute on the clock. This is exactly what we saw from Virtus.pro on Overpass. They don't give these AWPs any opportunity to get involved in the round, and if you force them into a retake, that could make things difficult.
Well, Perfecto gives them that chance, but ZywOo only the tag this time around. It's a massive setup in mid still here from VP.
I mean, they've been so unsuccessful mid to B. Surely they don't go for it again.
I think they're going for it again. I mean, there's the mid to B smoke, unless this is a fake and they're going to work their way up short. But if it is, they're fooling me. Oh, it's not going to be the mid to B. They're just going to contact play their way on B.
Just ropz over there. He does have an AWP in hand, but he is very much on his own.
18 seconds, though. And mezii is going to set himself up nicely for a double in mid. This has fallen apart for VP. ropz with that AWP, holding on nicely as well. That is perfection and exactly what Vitality wanted.
Just two players that needed to deliver in an individual position, and both of them passed in the test with flying colors. Multi-frag for mezii on double doors, and ropz dancing around Heaton. It's the kind of level that you expect from the individuals on Vitality, just styling on a team like Virtus.pro. It's so surprising to me that so many of these rounds when they've been running down the clock, they have been successful. Those are the kind of rounds that you'd be expecting from Vitality against VP style. You're running late into a site, you expect these players to just mop up.
Well, back to the pistols now for VP. Running out of rounds to play with, that is for sure.
I mean, this is where you wonder if the story for VP is going to go from they could have 2-0'd in this opening game of Chengdu to, oh, we barely didn't win Dust2, and then Mirage, unfortunately, ran out of steam a little bit.
Yeah, it's a possibility for sure. What are they cooking in this round? Bista's got a smoke.
Do have some progression smokes on catwalk and mid, but those don't really trouble Vitality too much. They're quite happy to play the range, play hands off, knowing that Virtus.pro do have the pistols.
It does look
Seems like VP have got a mid to B obsession. It's beginning to be a little bit of a problem, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you look at this and you'd say it's probably going to be a B finish again.
Yeah.
Bomb is over in that direction. There's a progression smoke at tunnel as well. Mid smoke blown open for a second there. Nothing seen by Vitality. With mezii up close and personal, I don't imagine the VP are getting out onto this site with any degree of success, but that is about as good as it's going to get.
I mean, there's just too much for ropz to do there. He's trying to wiggle his mouse around, find every little angle, but maybe Vitality will disrupt them before they can even try to get the plant down. Apex walking his way, completely unchecked through doors. Flit at least able to trade, but there's two players just waiting in the window. ZywOo finds the first, Flit 1-on-2.
I don't know if they saw him. He's in the smoke. Flames is watching it. Maybe they did. A round for Vitality. And the gap grows to just 1.
Yeah, bit of a heart stopper there for a moment. The pistols got a little bit too close for comfort, but Vitality recovering well, sensing that the plant wasn't down there for VP, who had to go looking for it in upper tunnels, and Apex just intuitively taking that timing on double doors that was needed.
They definitely saw him cross there into that smoke. That's why it was so easy for Flamesy to just sit there in the window and watch the smoke. So it was a pretty foregone conclusion in that 1v2.
10-11. Virtus.pro have got to be feeling a little bit hot under the color. Now, did win their opening map pick, have been front-running this game of Dust2 right from the get-go, but they are still the underdogs, playing one of the most successful teams this year.
And also a team that doesn't very often lose on this map. Flash completely catching Toro off guard.
That's a callback to Overpass. That's exactly what you were seeing over on that B side of Overpass. The Flash is up over the top of Monster. They are not afraid to aggress on the extremities. ropz doing much the same thing. VP now down 2 players. on the verge of evening up the scoreline against Vitality, but not in the way that they would have wanted.
Yeah, Perfecto hoping for a miracle there. He's not going to get anything, and Flit walks right into the crosshair of ropz. This double AWP setup has been quite effective for Vitality.
I mean, I can see why Vitality are mixing it in. A lot of the time you are having these slow contact approaches. You're running down the clock late into the round, and the approach in the late round, especially after a bit more of a drawn-out default, isn't always aided with utility all the time. A lot of drier contact approaches, only a couple of flashes in play. If you're thinking about, attacking one of these sites, you need to guess the setup well. You need to place your flashes in the correct positions if you even have any that late into the round. And if you don't, then the AWP is definitely going to have some value. I think you even saw ropz over on Plat getting a lot of value there with even the M4, so you can see why he's picking up the AWP. He's saying, these angles are already really working for me early on in the game, and AWP's just going to make things even easier.
mezii going to have a little bit of a look here. He might well find Perfecto. It'll go in the other direction. Not a concern really for Vitality. They've got so much money. And that's a wild spray that's going to get the job done.
Did he go down after time? He did, 500. Oh, man. The second time this game for Virtus.pro.
Yeah. It's rough. Tag timeout to come through here for VP. If they need it at any time, now is that time. Where can they find that key adaptation? That key change-up?
But like with what money, though? 500 for Perfecto. Bist has got an AWP and a molly, and the rest of them are 3.3 to 3.8. Against double AWP. Like, you need money for flashes. You need money for util to trade down with the CT side. Like, again, it's going to have to be a stroke of brilliance calling-wise from Virtus.pro to make something happen in this round. They need just the perfect timing.
Wild spray from Apex. What are we going to get here? We've got Perfecto with a Tech 9.
Yeah, Techno Armor, Mac 10, 2 Galils, 2 flashes against double AWP.
Rush B.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, sure. It's not the AWP over there this time, though. They're going to put more premium on holding this B site. I think it's mezii tucked into back plat there with the AWP on window. And at what point is VP going to get some help? They are just addicted to mid to B, and it hasn't worked for them.
A lot more of the map to clear out here before they can even start thinking about taking a site. Another resmoke. Oh, no, sorry, it's a flash. 2 upper tunnels.
You've already got a player tucked into CT there as well. Ready to harass them on the cross. Will be Apex. Zaibu can potentially set him up with a flash through the smoke if needed. He's got an HE to break open this mid to B smoke. I just don't see it working. I really don't.
Molly's gone through, buying a little bit more time here for Vitality. He's scurrying around, starting to eat some damage. That grenade lands onto Perfecto and Flit.
Back to... I mean, it really feels like Virtus.pro is indecisive about what they want to be putting together here.
Hoping that Perfecto can get something done through those mid doors. It's not going to happen. There's no one there for him to even take a fight against.
ropz v Bist on the AWP duel towards tunnels. Close angle up on top of the double stack from mezii. This is not a position VP have seen yet. 20 seconds on the clock.
Well, it's just going to be a contact play into B. A bit of Molotov out there as well, but ropz gets the opener and no trade to come through just yet. ropz is getting everything you could possibly want. Eventually, forced down by that molly. mezii needs to die now, and he does. 5 seconds for the plant. This is just going to get there, but 1v3 and the flash coverage, he cannot see a damn thing right now. There is nowhere for him to go. Vitality will claim the lead, and it is a beautiful time to take it.
A multi-frag from ropz yet again. Holding down the B site with the AWP. This mid to B has just not had a good success rate. You've praised VP so far for the calling in this series, but this is just a new level of stubbornness. I get that the money wasn't great, but it's just a call that has not worked for them very much on this T side at all, and they are being punished in kind.
Are they going to change it up? Yes. Looks like Long's the play for the final round of regulation, and I think they're going to get out fine because there's no contest from Vitality in that part of the map.
Set up heavily in mid this time. HE will
that's
give
a good
Zywoo
trade.
an opportunity. I can't believe Flit has been able to trade that.
Yeah. Really, really important that he does, though.
In the meantime, seeing VP making some moves over there on long. No one over there for Vitality. They very much, once again, have a centralized setup.
Flit's
And that's
the one in
where Flit,
danger.
he really needs to choose the right moment in this round, or he is just going to go down for free.
He's just got to survive, really. I don't even think he needs to necessarily do anything, but the longer he can survive and buy a bit of time here will be a big difference maker. Smoke's going to go through.
Oh, late flank through tunnels could be actually genius from Flit, to be honest. You can see mezii's really going looking for him. I wonder if he's going to make his... No, I mean, why would you go all the way into clearing tunnels? You've cleared out lowers. You're just assuming there isn't going to be a flank later in the round.
They're concerned that he might be in mid. I mean, you can see mezzii's having a bit of a look there as well. He's going to actually go into the B bomb site. Bomb plant does go down, but it will cost Fame his life. That's 2 grenades and a Molotov. They find their prize. Is that molly deep enough? It doesn't look like it's quite going to spread onto Bist, but of course, all eyes turn onto Flit as he gets that freebie into CT spawn. He picks the perfect timing to catch ropz, and this round begins in earnest as the retake is underway. It's 3-on-3. Bist in Goose can't get anything done. It's on to Perfecto. Oh, Captain, my Captain cannot get it done. 13-11. Vitality will win map 2, and that means we're going to our third. VP was so close, but ultimately so far away.
That is just class from Vitality. You have seen so many huge comebacks from this core so far this year. That is the caliber of Counter-Strike that they bring.
But I also look at this with some degree of excitement and hope, because I think Virtus.pro have showed enough today to make me believe that they actually can do it. It's not been like a streaky game necessarily from them. They've had some actual good rounds, some pretty good calls, different individuals stepping up at different moments, that kind of thing. So I think there's definitely a formula there for Virtus.pro that might work, but here we are on map 3, ready to find out if VP can become the Vitality killers for IEM Chengdu, or at least the Vitality knocked down into the lower bracketers, or if they themselves will be getting knocked down into the lower bracket.
You had it right the first time. 9 players set up around A, though, and mezii starts things off very well for Vitality.
Yeah, is that going to be a metaphor for something more throughout this half? We'll find out. VP up to their usual tricks, and that is to say not up to a whole lot, actually, on the T side.
They're quite comfortable with silence. Quite comfortable to just wait a little bit longer and see if anything will change. And indeed, something will change. Aggression from Vitality. Flash. 2 players dive their way into the ramp. mezii having a think about going in for a second helping, but instead feels he's been satiated enough for the moment.
Apex gets a little bit of damage there onto Perfecto, but nothing really of note. It is going to be the A hit. And Vitality have plenty of members there to defend, and ropz gets away with a little too much. So this pistol round on the CT side is going to go comfortably the way of Vitality, and that is really not what you want to be seeing for the health of this map, I'd say.
No, definitely not. Bist has made a meal of that one. Catches 2 players not looking at him creeping out of Palace and can't connect a single frag there. It's a round that starts off poorly and continues to spiral further out of control for a Virtus.pro that has been quite competitive today, has won themselves their fair share of pistols. That one was just a non-starter.
Bit slow out the gates there for VP out of the T-spawn. But not really much to be too concerned about, considering this is a full save pretty much. Flit's got himself that P250, but really nothing of note for VP. So seems like they're going to have a chat.
Seeing Zywoo just take the dualies into this round, so really wanting to build that ult fund nice and early on. He's been a player that's been pretty absent thus far in this series, so if he really turns it on in this third map, that's something that honestly VP might not know what to do about.
Yeah.
He's not really been a player that VP have had to worry about yet today.
100%.
So if he really starts turning it on here on Mirage, I don't know if they're going to know what to do with themselves. They already had a number of problems against ropz's Orb last map.
Yeah, I mean, just to back up your eye test with some stats, Zywoo's the lowest rated player for Vitality in this series so far.
It's been 10 frags a map thus far.
Yeah. Funnily enough as well, Bist is also the lowest rated player for VP so far. So both of the AWPers struggling to have the impact they would want.
I mean, we had all eyes on Biss going into this series. I've quickly forgotten about him, to be honest. Fame was really drawing a lot of eyes in that map of Overpass. And then, look, Toro had some good moments. Flit has had some good moments. The calling's been good from Perfecto, even if the individual level hasn't necessarily always been there. You've seen a couple of key whiffs from him.
Might be able to get a bomb plan here if they can get out of apartments. And it looks like that's just going to be denied by Apex. Quick rotation in there from Vitality. All good in the end, so not a single kill yet in the map for VP.
Some smiles there for Vitality, looking a little bit more confident after how those first 2 rounds have gone. Feeling like they are well and truly back in control of things. But we'll see if Virtus.pro can continue to put on some good T-side rounds, or if they have kind of run out of steam a little bit. It was some masterful calling on the T-side of Overpass. Dust2 started off well, but then once we started to get into the later stages of the game, the calling was actually quite poor from Virtus.pro. I feel like really tried to force the mid to B approach over and over again when it really wasn't working. I mean, part of that was just down to the money that they had to work with. They didn't really have many other options to run a slower round or a more drawn-out default against a fully kitted CT side. So we'll see what the Mirage T side is going to be looking like. Early contest in towards B. You're already boosting up a player outside of window. ZywOo up the ladder. Comes alive early here for Vitality, and that is going to be problems for Virtus.pro. Continuing to deliver here.
Oh no, it's happening. ZywOo is online. He's got himself the 3K, looking for more. Gets a bit more greedy than perhaps he should have, as he will eventually fall to fame, but you've got the insurance policy of mezii. And luckily also of Apex and Flames. So 3-0 for Vitality. Couple of inroads made there by VP, but realistically speaking, I think Apex has summed it up nicely.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen ZywOo multi-frag with the orb yet today. So in the opening round to see him...
That's a shot.
Yeah, that's a very nice one. I mean, he brought the dualies into the anti-eco. It's very clear that he wanted to get the orb online. I think, honestly, after how the first 2 maps have gone, might have been pulled aside by Apex or Xtaz and said, like, all right, man, like 2 maps of ZywOo off is something.
Oh, ropz has got a problem with his monitor there. It's
no, he's saying good job to it. He's giving it a nice pat. He's saying, you've been very good today.
I was looking at him. He was like checking the height of the monitor. Because, you know, now on these new Zoe monitors, they have like the measurement basically as to how high, you know, you want to have it. And he seems like the kind of guy that knows down to the millimeter exactly where he wanted it to be. And I think it was a little bit too high.
Yeah.
He was really sussing it out.
Yep. Long gone are the days of, you know, players like Top Gun just rocking up and being like, oh, whatever.
How many people...
I'll just use it.
How many people even remember Top Gun?
Probably not that many.
Like that's a reference that, especially considering we're speaking to...
It's like more than 10 years
audience.
ago now, but like there are definitely players back in the day that would just... I mean, it's so professionalized nowadays, esports, but there are players back in the day that they would just rock up, be like they wouldn't even have a config or anything, you know? They just rock up, be like, oh yeah.
That feels good.
Yeah.
Off we go.
We'll try this sense today. See how we're feeling. Default crosshair. I'll give it a go. Seems good.
Yep. What about mouse color? I mean, that's starting to become a thing now too. My mouse has always been black, but now you can get white, red, pink, yellow. I've seen yellow. Would you have a yellow mouse? I think yellow is pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Highlighter yellow, highlighter orange, traffic cone orange.
I mean, look, I actually like the highlighter orange there for VP. Like I said, it's giving traffic cone.
It's giving Aussie tradie on a Friday afternoon, smashing down a meat pie at the servo.
Absolutely. He's had his sickie, he's had his V, he's ready to go.
Toro's got the haircut for it too, actually.
It's true. I mean, if there were any players that were going to have like bright orange hair, it would be Chinese players, it would be Russian players.
Right.
Those are the only players that I've seen dye their hair an egregious color. I don't think Toro's full natty there though. He would definitely fit in with the Weasleys, but that's a story for another time. I'm also ginger, so I can say it, guys. There's the Molly interconnector. Text coming up on close. We'll see what Fame will deliver.
Bit of damage here and there. The kill actually onto Apex in the end. A double kill. Okay, maybe something of interest here for VP to sniff on, but still need to get rid of mezii, which they are able to do. Bomb plant going down now as well. ZywOo not able to deny that. Oh, he is actually able to deny it.
He's put the fear of God in them for now.
Yeah,
that will go down.
is terrified, apparently.
Nonetheless, Bist has copped a little bit of a nade, so he is quite low. He doesn't want to cop another spam. You've still got a player hanging around in underpass. They couldn't get involved late in the piece. And Vitality are taking a very long time to get on into the site here.
Maybe too long. That's an important kill for ZywOo, but he needs another, and that USP is not delivering. Smoke's going to go down a little bit too deep, I think. I don't think it's covering the bomb. It's covering short. Oh, Toro gets it done.
Stepping up when it was needed. These are the two players that have been delivering the most impact for VP today. It's Fame to start it off. A 2K for him, and he hands another dink to mezii before he does go down. Beautiful shooting on the Tech 9, and then Toro was the standout there on Dust2. And is the player to close it out in the 1v2. It must have been a millisecond off the defuse there.
Very close.
You could see a little bit of trigger discipline on the Tech 9 there. He's not panicking and getting hot under the collar.
Spamming, yeah.
Yeah, it can be very easy to just like send it a little bit when you know that you're really running out of time. But Toro keeps his cool. And a first round for VP in unlikely circumstances. The damage done to the economy with the Tech 9 is palpable. You can see it there, the reset potential on Vitality.
Yes, it is. But it's also still going to be a bit of an uphill battle here for VP. You know, they don't get off to the start that they want. So going to have to wrestle control of this half back away from Vitality if they really want to test them. ZywOo's got the AWP out again, but no util behind it.
And this round would be a big one for VP to be winning. Definitely make this game, once again, neck and neck, as we've seen the majority of today. This is a very Virtus.pro round, though, to open things up here. Spread around the map. Not really doing too much of anything early on. Have seen them time and time again boil it down to 30, 40 seconds on the clock before they actually decide to get a wriggle on. Vitality holding on a fair bit of util there.
Yep.
They're going to be well aware of these tendencies by this point in the series.
mezii solo holding B at the moment. ropz is in somewhat of a pivot position on ladder.
Fame throwing a one-man fake out A here. Hasn't really drawn too much interest from Vitality, to be honest. They're still just sitting in their setup.
Fame's going to actually have a look, though, and that might be where you do see some of that interest come through. Or, with a kill like that from ZywOo, the jig is up for mezii as well, apparently. But a good grenade is really going to soften the targets here. ropz only going to be good for one in the end, and somehow, some way, VP have actually managed to get themselves a bomb plant down on B. That did not look like a round that they were going to make work, but they have actually managed to do so.
I mean, Fame going down there is kind of a non-factor when you're able to crack open the small side. And you've seen Virtus.pro have a similar approach to this a couple of times today. They are very comfortable just boiling down the mid-round and simplifying things, just saying, like, we're just going to throw a fake out A, see what you can get done, and then we try to hit that very sharp timing into B, and if we're able to get the entries and trade out, having pulled that rotation earlier on, even if it's not a full commitment of a rotation, I mean, you're never even really expecting that against a team of Vitality's caliber. You even just expect one extra player, not on that B side of the map, and then we just trade out effectively. We can win rounds like these. Another 2K from Toro. The first two close out a round for VP, and that too will secure yet another round, more so on the entry. Lovely stuff. Good molly over there onto balcony. Does crack open the setup, and well traded by Toro. That's the round that they were looking for, Jordan. Does break the economy of Vitality, but when you do have an 8K on mezii and an AWP on ZywOo, who has started to warm up in this series, you can't take these rounds for granted.
100%. ZywOo going to set himself up in middle as well. Going to try and get into the action early on in the piece, but VP have no interest in heading in that direction. Once again, it is going to be Bully the Brit.
Let's see if he's feeling like a merry man or whether he's a little bit sad. scurrying away back to NBK, but there's flames behind him, both figuratively and literally. As his teammate scurries back out of market, not even thinking about the rotation of Vitality.
Yeah, instant save call.
I mean, his flames over on that flank, actually. Maybe looking for some damage, if anything, and just to hold on to those rifles. Totem, boost up rather, pole position for Flip. It's out a player in con. But Apex going down, that was just the USP.
Yeah.
We're not really going to mind too much about that.
Yeah, they've just sent the pistols there to go and have a bit of a look, see if they can find an upgrade. It's not going to happen.
It's another nice timing towards B. Virtus.pro, I mean, cracking it open in the last after an A fake, and then once again, an early round timing towards B anti-eco. These kind of anti-eco rounds can be good rounds to condition your opponent and show your tendencies and your comfortability towards what site you want to be leaning towards. They have good money now, Virtus.pro. I think the recovery after that Tech 9 round put together by Fame and Toro has really changed the game here.
Yep. Yeah, it's good to see VP continuing to test Vitality here. It's been a much more enticing series than what we would have anticipated when we started watching this game.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's good competitive Counter-Strike early on in the tournament.
I mean, one of the lowest seeded teams against one of the best seeds, and you're getting a series this competitive. Bodes well for the rest of the tournament.
Yep.
There's the change up for Vitality, though. Zaiwu on the extremity. On that deep info line all the way down B apps, which is going to allow Vitality to do exactly this. Much more heavily stacked up in towards the middle of the map. Multiple riflers looking to try to disrupt and contest this default.
Flit almost gets himself something there, but Flamesy on his way out to safety, and now that flash is going to be the undoing of the offensive initially. Good trade in from Bist. Need more of that, but Flames on the off angle. Catching Fame, and now it's starting to fall apart a little bit for VP. They're not finding quite the inroads that they need. It's good coverage from that short position. Somehow Flames has just danced his way around the A side. He's back at triple now. But the fact that he has survived has been what has put a stop to this one for Virtus.pro.
Same position for Toro, that he put a 1-on-2 together, but a little bit too much to ask when he's caught a nade that hard. Cleaned up well by Flames. Good recovery from Vitality to take a fourth. Virtus.pro. Plenty of cash on this T side to be able to recover from that, though. They are going to continue to chip in more T side gun rounds. Great flash from Flames in towards connector there. I felt like Flit may have had a timing in that round, but quickly denied by Vitality.
A few perplexed looking faces maybe there for VP if I'm reading into the body language a bit too much. Maybe some harsh words going around as well.
Clearly had a certain idea of what they wanted to do there, and it didn't necessarily get executed in the way that they would have wanted, is kind of the read that I was getting from that. And you saw that in the server. They had a definitely pretty strong mid to A approach going for themselves. Flit was deep up connector. I mean, he's had a tough time getting into this game, and he's the one who gets isolated by the flash play. So I think, look, maybe a couple of stern words headed in his direction. But it really felt like he was kind of saying, like, I got this, just relax. I'll get it under control.
Yep.
This round hasn't started well for him. You know, you can see from the facial expression after catching a couple of nades there that it really kind of is spiraling bad to worse.
It seems like it's getting a little frustrating for VP, but early days.
Once again, does seem like they are trending in the direction of that B site. Want to actually making moves towards underpass. So maybe a bit more pressure on the middle of the map. At least for Vitality, though, it's a full retake setup on this A site. I think if it does get tested, it's just going to be Flames to play retake there. See both ropz and Apex set up towards connector. May contest mid hand in hand with mezii, because once again, Zaiwu's been posted up on this B side of the map. It's rifle-centric gameplay towards middle.
Nice pop flash into connector. Smoke to top con as well. It's going to be answered by a bottom con molly, but of course the molly burns out a little quicker than the smoke does, so that territory is still going to go the way of VP.
30 seconds.
Apex is having a look in toward middle here to see what he can do, but it's all about mezii right now. Apex does ultimately strike on the back end. That offensive has been ripped apart in the blink of an eye.
I mean, Virtus.pro just don't have an answer for Vitality's setup right now. ZywOo posted down B-apps, and all of these riflers inside of middle, and it really just feels like they wait for the first player to take contact with Virtus.pro, and that's kind of the go signal. As soon as mezii makes contact from Cat here, that's where the rest of Vitality just dive out and get involved. Apex, straight out a window. The con players swing together. They're just waiting for Virtus.pro to make a move in the mid-round, and as soon as they do, it's all guns blazing. Every player fighting together. Back to what was working before. Looking for another beat timing, which means it will once again be mezii to defend.
Yeah. The old B-apps jump spot. He actually gets a nice kill there onto Fame. And he's given himself a little bit of a room as a result, which is quite important because Toro is starting to work his way onto that side. But mezii with a fantastic 3K. And then the transition coming through from ZywOo and Apex to finish it off. It's looking like Vitality are well and truly back in control.
Yeah, it feels like they're just out macroing Virtus.pro on this CT side right now. Like I said, the mid setup was working well. You've seen these slower mid-control kind of setups from Virtus.pro and making moves into Cat in the mid-round, and then the only other real success factor you've seen from them was over towards this beat site. It's a fast FUD from Vitality to immediately defend that. Gonna have to see a little bit of a more different approach, a different timing for Virtus.pro, and that's exactly what you're gonna get. Quick pacing, straight up Cat there from Fleet. He's found a timing. It's a flurry of kills in the kill feed, but it's still one down for Virtus.pro.
That's bad news. Haven't been able to recover from these numbers deficits so far on the map. This one might look a little more achievable. Perhaps a bomb plant open to them if they can clear out CT spawn, and that flash was a good one, but ropz playing anti-flash, makes short work of it. Yes, it's a bomb plant for VP, but nothing more than that.
Just the small details, isn't it? That one player being anti-flash, really saving the round there for Vitality. Could have easily been a 2K for Toro off the back of a perfect flash. Over from Firebox. The Vitality able to work their way through a difficult situation. A messy start to the round. Majority of those kills happening in mid and A ramp. Vitality, though, up 7-3. Really does feel like they're starting to dominate Virtus.pro a little bit. Most of these maps, Dust2 and Overpass, started with Virtus.pro front running. We haven't had to see them fight from behind yet. I'm not sure they're going to have it in them.
Yeah, I tend to agree. We've constantly counted VP out throughout this series from the outset. We have been proven wrong in a couple of instances. Maybe this will be another one of them as they try another flood onto B. And this time they get the better of both mezii and ropz. The openers go the way of VP, and that is a big difference maker. This should be round done and dusted.
It's the same names that roll off the tongue for Virtus.pro. Toro and Frame finding one each on the entry in towards B. Vitality, though, they've got plenty of cash. They could buy up the last 2 gun rounds of the half, so they are going to go for this one.
Interesting. Flit in ladder room will be cleared out. Nicely timed there by Apex, but this door push will be a little more difficult. 1-for-1 there. As Perfecto does get taken down. Still numbers to find, and time is really running away from Vitality here. Apex has kind of got himself stuck in the fight. He's going to keep on having a bit of a look, but ZywOo is out of there to retain the AWP.
Trying to take as many guns away from VP as they can. As VP have got no cash in reserve heading into the last round of the half here, so could see that Vitality were very much trying to make that as expensive as possible. This B timing, though, Virtus.pro, stubbornness has not necessarily been their friend today, but at least in this case, works out well for them. Set up Fame and Toro in a position where they can find some entries, simplify down the game and get into the small site. Has been a recipe for success for Virtus.pro. Into the B side of Overpass in the late portions of the round on Dust2. Finding that beat timing before ropz got the AWP out. What are they going to show us into the last round of the half? We've had 7-5s, all 3 halves, in the first 2 halves, rather. Could be another one if VP can scrape together another T-side round here.
Well, they've got the buy to do it.
Additional warp in CT spawn there. See if someone does want to pick that up later on.
Handy to have the choice.
Flit, the only player on the lurk here as the execute comes in towards A. He wants to try to activate in the mid-round, maybe trying to slip into Con. Fame, great timing out of A round, finds the entry onto Flames.
This might be where Zaibu's going to have to activate again from CT spawn. Flit, though, in the meanwhile, has been taken down. So we're back to a 4-on-4, but VP still flooding their way in onto that A side through the cover of the smokes. Vitality happy to let them get that bomb plan and play for the retake. There's a 1-for-1. Apex down, but he got his one before he fell. ropz in as well for a trade. Now all of a sudden, numbers again favoring Vitality. That's an important kill for mezii. Through the flash, he gets Toro, which leaves just Perfecto. And again, in a clutch, he's going to have to try and make it happen. Couldn't do it at the back end of Dust2, but maybe here on Mirage, he can make it happen. Defuses on. Zaiwu will make it magical for Vitality. 8-4 at the end of the half. He gets that cheeky defuse in the smoke, and Vitality are feeling good on map 3. Well, it kind of felt like we were always headed in this direction after Virtus.pro picked up that first map. We had some degree of hope, but there's always that lingering thought in the back of your mind that they're playing against Vitality. And Vitality doesn't really lose on Dust2 and often doesn't lose best of threes. And, well, 8-4 in the third and final map is the scoreline. Vitality leading. VP need to find a way to lift here.
I mean, speaking of lifting, that's what you've seen from ZywOo. He's put 10 kills a map together in the first two. He's put 10 kills together in the first half and not had too many issues. A lot of AWP shots connecting as well. He has definitely come online here right when he's needed for Vitality, and it seemed like they want to show VP that they can do exactly what was done to them in the first half. Creeping up for this contact. Exploited by Perfecto will keep the bay for now. A lot of players on cap that could be there for a quick eye from Virtus.pro.
Perfecto ready to stand and deliver. He's only got the USP in hand here, so he's going to have to hit some headshots. And takes the time to actually drop off to Van instead. Well, Vitality are waiting very patiently. Get that molly through, and now the flood ensues. The flashes over the top. Bist can't see anything. He does have some backup on short, but nobody landing the shots. Finally, Fame and so chiming in. Was looking okay until ZywOo just does something. I don't even know how he's picked up all three like that. And he gets Toro as well. Well, we were asking, you know, where is ZywOo? He had a bit of a slower map 1 and 2. He's arrived, that's for sure.
He's back. Big 4K in the pistol round. Hope we get to see a replay of this. Looked like he was spinning around on every angle.
Yeah.
Perfecto, 1 bullet in the mag. Does dive out off that contact to Fame, and Fame rather, and he just gets 180.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Nice double peek to close out the round as well for Vitality. Another pistol for them. VP under the pump here, Jordan. They've started out every single one of these maps so well in this series, but Mirage has been a different story. We were kind of questioning, will they run out of steam as we head into the third map? And this series kind of right itself, and unfortunately, that is what it seems to be happening here. Versing a team as the big underdog after letting the second map slip through your fingers, a chance to 2-0. You lose both pistols and the star player starts going ballistic. I don't think there's much hope following that sometimes.
Vitality taking the opportunity to work middle. Get Flamesy into connector. Flash into the smoke, and he's got some nice control. Mezii, meanwhile, doing the same thing at A main.
Oh, yes. That's Flit's second kill. He was bullied so heavily, especially connector in that first half. So that's going to be a small reprieve. But outside of that, there's really not much else going on in that round.
It's a wooden spoon prize, if anything.
Well, it might be an ult for Bist.
Okay.
They wouldn't have the money for that, I don't think, off the single save. Would mean not a whole lot of utility in Flit's pocket. It's not a bad way to get a second kill, though. Is that the mental edge that he needs to start being a factor in this game? Indeed, the AWP will be dropped over to Bist here. Util's a little light for VP. Pressure into middle. Flit, unfortunately, not able to replicate any kind of disrespect post-knife kill. In fact, he is the one who is very quickly dealt with in the earlier portion of this round. Fame continues to deliver, though. Trades at least one back.
The smoke here as well will give Perfecto a bit of room to move, but it seems as though Vitality are all over that, and ZywOo and Apex just spam him to death.
It's unfortunate. I think he thought that the smoke would bloom enough for him to make it into the con smoke as the flash is coming in so that he could dive out of it, but it was enough of a gap for Vitality to work with there. Disjointed here from Virtus.pro into A ramp. Toro does find some information. Bist making his way back over towards that big site to join up with Fame, who is low but on an off angle here. Duel between ropz and Toro could be key to decide what's going to happen in the latter portions of this round.
ropz is definitely looking for it. Toro up for the challenge, it would seem. Molotov, meanwhile, pushing Fame off of his line. B site taken by Vitality, and A site also looking taken by Vitality. It's just Bist floating around. It will be the A site that they decide to go toward. And that means Bist is Not really anywhere where he needs to be.
Zyber, who's already on the hunt. He's heard the AWP, and he said, I'd love one of those. He's chilling in underpass. Bis. Oh, not able to connect a single scope. ropz will take the AWP out of his hands. He's maybe hung around for a little bit too much there. And looking at the scoreline and the money on VP, I'm not sure he's going to be able to replace that AWP this game.
How about that peek, though, from ropz?
I mean,
jumping off stairs, con peek.
It's a classic kind of ropz peek, really.
Yeah.
It's the small details, walking up close on the wall and then swinging very wide to throw off your opponent a little bit. And that's just enough of an advantage to win him that duel against Bist. Only connected the dink with the Famous. Wasn't quite enough to convert a very key frag in that round. Mid control again here from Vitality. They're really starting to hammer the point home. Big stack up around middle for Virtus.pro. It's a retake setup on that A site. I'm looking at Bist with the Famous thinking that could have been an AWP.
Could have, but would it have really made much of a difference at this point? Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like it. ropz trying to stand and deliver. It will be the grenade from Apex that ends up getting the job done on the player at Ticket. But meanwhile, ZywOo again waltzes his way out onto middle and claims 2. He's 18-2.
He's dominated them. Perfecto's got a Mag 7. I've seen some Counter-Strike in my day, Jordan, but I don't think this is going to happen for him.
No, I'm not a believer. Maybe a 10-second smoke defuse is more likely than a 1v3 with a Mag 7, I would say.
He's maybe even just waiting for someone to walk into CT to give him an AK, but I think he's going to have to resign himself to the fact that he's going to end up with a Famous. Bit of a life metaphor, really, in a way.
Yeah?
Yep. You always want the AK, but sometimes you just end up with the Famous, man. Sometimes you end up with nothing. Apex cuts him down on the cross. And series point for Vitality. It feels like they are the ones that have a point to prove after how those first 2 maps went.
Just when you accept your lot in life, something comes along and it's like, you know what, we'll make it even worse.
Yeah, come on, man. All right.
How about that?
Oh.
That's a gnarly shot, though. I mean,
great crosshair placement.
Perfecto, hard done by. But 12-4, unfortunately, not the map that VP would have wanted.
Yeah. Look, the Polar Bears starting off this series with a roar, but unfortunately they may go out with a whimper. Vitality very much humbling them. Once again, Flames flashed out of middle. VP were thinking about some aggression there, but have opted to walk the path of least resistance for now. Still set up quite heavily around Con, maybe waiting for some further moves here from Vitality into the middle of the map.
Yeah, Vitality happy to slow it down a little. Get their own smoke to bottom Con. It's a little bit deeper. We are going to see a push from VP that is very swiftly dealt with by Flamesy, but Flit gets himself a couple with the Famous. Meanwhile, though, A site relatively undefended, and Vitality have pounced upon that opportunity. Flit will have now been spotted out as well. He'll look for some chip damage with that grenade, and he gets it down to 83 HP is Apex, but still no inroads really being made by VP until Perfecto is able to strike, and they're waiting for Bist to walk his way through CT spawn.
They got to speed this up. I don't think they have a kit here.
ropz has got a molly. He's got a nade as well. That'll cause a bit of a problem later on in the round if he survives, which he doesn't. Into Sandwich, it's mezii that has to survive, and he gets himself the double. Is it enough? Maybe. Flit is going to hold this defuse, but I don't think he's got it. I don't know if he thinks he's got it either. VP down into the lower bracket. 13-4. Vitality will take the first series for themselves. It was a pretty hefty effort from them today, it has to be said, going down on Overpass 13-9, but they pulled it back on their map pick of Dust2, and of course a comfortable victory there on Mirage. So some work had to be done by Vitality, but the eventual winner was the expected winner.
I can't tell if that was the song